Greetings, it's the latest episode of Yeah, I've Played. This time around, myself, Matt Hall, and...
Andrew Taylor.
Jordan Hill.
Surprise, surprise, It's three of us again.
Who'da
We are
thought?
going to be discussing Silent Hill.
The first one. Ever.
Silent Hill was released for the PlayStation in 1999. Developed by Team Silent and published by Konami, the game was a response to Capcom's success with the Resident Evil series, and it pushed survival horror away from its B-movie roots and into more psychological horror territory. Widely considered to be one of the greatest games of all time, it spawned a series of sequels, spin-offs, reimaginings, and many other Silent Hill stories across all different forms of media. The story follows Harry Mason's search for his lost daughter Cheryl across the mysterious town of Silent Hill. Harry and Cheryl are headed to Silent Hill for a vacation. While driving into town, Harry swerves to avoid hitting a person in the middle of the road, crashes his car, and wakes up alone in the foggy streets of the small town. While searching for his daughter, Harry runs into a cast of characters which include police officer Sybil Bennett, doctor Michael Kaufman, nurse Lisa Garland, and local eccentric Dahlia Gillespie.
Definitely not Donna.
Donna. Jordan said Donna earlier.
Harry finds himself going in and out of consciousness throughout the story, and struggles to understand the boundaries between reality and nightmares as he battles a cavalcade of horrific monsters on his quest to reunite with Cheryl. We all recently finished this game for the first time. We'll be discussing the gameplay, graphics, sound, and the plot in great detail, but first, I want to ask you guys, we all never played this game before.
That's
we
right.
finished it in the last week or so.
It was the first time.
What was your impression of this game before going in, and how did that line up with your actual experience with the game? Andrew.
I took a note on this as I came close to finishing the game. I feel like as you talked about it being highly regarded, one of the best games of all time. I feel like everyone thinks it's like, oh, it's very scary, psychological, story-based, deep, metaphysical exploration of this potentially not real world and these monsters, and we're the monsters. But in reality, I thought it was just kind of goofy. I didn't think it really. I feel like, I know it's, we have to acknowledge the age of it and everything, but I do not feel like I got out of it what people express they feel about the game. Jordan Hill?
Well,
Jordan?
Real quick. I meant to ask this as well. Have you guys played any of the other games in the series?
I have not.
No.
Okay.
No.
Same question, Jordan.
Same question, Jordan. That's my name. No, going into this game, I had a similar concept of it, that it was like this horror classic, you know what I mean? I remember it was like my dad's first modern video game he watched anybody play after playing the Atari, and he was like, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had that going into it, and it definitely has aged not great with some mechanics and stuff like that, and obviously graphically I'm sure it was fucking incredible for 1999, you know what I mean? But there was some rough moments here and there graphically that were kind of funny with the sprites and stuff, because they're all just polygons.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I was pleasantly surprised. I really thought it was going to be kind of difficult to get through because it is so old and because it might be a little bit obtuse with the mechanics, but it was I don't know, it was pretty easy to overcome some of those weird mechanics. I got used to it within maybe 15 minutes of playing it. Then the only difficulty was if I took 2 days off, I'd kind of have a hard time remembering how to move around and shit like that. But I thought it was a fun game. I had a lot of fun with it. And I thought it was not really scary, but definitely really creepy. You know what I mean? This is also coming from somebody who if that was the first ever survival horror game I played, it probably would have been scary. You know what I mean? But I've played all of these modern survival horror games that are
we are kind of at a disadvantage in a way of being so familiar with all the games heavily inspired by Silent Hill.
Yes.
And not so much, seeing the source material, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
You mentioned that, it felt a lot like Alan Wake.
Yeah, it was bizarre how how potent the
Crash car, wake up.
I-
Where's woman?
yeah, essentially. Monsters?
Haircut, brown,
Same guy.
jacket,
Yeah.
jeans.
It's crazy how
Flashlight.
Where's woman? Where woman?
puzzle,
Where's woman?
light, dark, gun. Yeah, I think it was just crazy how strong the Silent Hill and by extension Resident Evil DNA is still so alive in the more modern games, modern survival horror games that we have nowadays.
Yeah, seeing this, I know that a lot of games took even more heavily from Silent Hill 2, but obviously a huge influence on Silent Hill 2 was Silent Hill 1. So
They're like, that shit sucked. We're gonna do something totally else.
Assume.
I do want to in the future. I want to go through the second game, which if you're playing on PC, there's a lot of people have lamented the bad HD edition that is Silent Hill 2 and 3. You can get as a package deal, but Konami lost the source code and gave the very amateur devs an incomplete version of the game to work from. And they also lost some rights to some of the voice acting and stuff. And it's lamentable. People don't like it. But there was a PC edition that was put out years prior that fans have done an HD sort of mod pack for. That's not entirely dissimilar from what we did when we played Resident Evil 4. There was
Okay.
HD mod pack, whatever
Almost
it's
like
called. The Restoration Project. It's something like that.
Yeah.
It was like when you think of mods, you think of adding stuff and changing and swapping stuff out. But I saw footage of the 4K Silent Hill 1, and it is they just they kept the same shit, just cleaned it up.
Yeah.
The textures were good.
Yeah. If you hear mods and you think Macho Man Randy Savage as the dragon. In Skyrim,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Playing as CJ in the new Spider-Man game.
there isn't an equivalent for the first game as there is with Silent Hill 2, and so we played it on PlayStation emulators. And what's funny, I saw we all sent screenshots of our end score results. We all had different aspect ratios,
Yeah.
which is odd because we're all using I think PCSX either as a standalone or as a core and RetroArch. So it's whatever, I guess. It's just I looked at footage of someone running this game on a PlayStation through a really nice CRT, and it didn't look, aside from the minor adjustments to aspect ratio, which happened a lot in games anyway, back just going through the ages.
Yeah.
It looked almost identical to what we were playing for the most part. I think you had maybe more smoothing on than I did or something
I didn't change it.
Right.
I didn't.
That's-
Neither did
I
I.
was like,
Yeah.
it could have been the ROM I downloaded because we didn't have a singular ROM we all shared, I don't believe.
Right. We all there was
Yeah.
different
just
different.
kinda
I
found
tried
the
to
different
get into
source
the settings, but yeah.
It's a little obtuse. I'm not, and I'm kind of a fucking caveman. You know what I mean? I'm not a.
Yeah,
I'm
this
like-
is the first PlayStation game I emulated.
Yeah, same here. I'm less of a caveman in that. And even still, I got to the video settings and it was just high quality, and I was like, yeah, but what about where's the rest? Where's the
Yeah, my
anti-aliasing?
understanding is that there's other cores and shaders you can download and put into it that I don't really know much about it, but I've seen
Yeah,
people be
I
like,
saw some stuff.
"Oh, I'm using this thing and this thing and this thing." I'm like, "Oh, I don't even fucking know what that means."
Quickly I googled it and it was like here's your
Scratch.
guide to modify RetroArch and install these other cores to allow you to. And I was like, nope.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
gonna play the
downloaded RetroArch and I opened it up and got really overwhelmed.
It took me a couple years to be totally comfortable with RetroArch,
Yeah.
and it has gotten better over the years. Even as the interface has gotten better,
Yeah.
but it is it does feel like using.
It looked
Just
like the PSP menu to me, dude.
I could see that. It feels like using DOS, but with a nicer graphical interface, but it's still
Yeah.
not that different.
Yeah.
Anyway, first thing I do want to discuss is the overall gameplay. Again, we're playing it emulated, but I played with the D-pad. I've always hated tank controls, and I mean, I hated it even way back when these games launched.
I hated
never
it.
liked it.
Yeah.
Always thought it was very awkward, and I think part of it was that I never had a PlayStation. I
Yep.
barely ever played anything on PlayStation, so the first 3D game that I really remember playing was Mario 64, which still feels nearly flawless today.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God,
That was
yeah.
one of the first games I ever played.
Especially
too.
with the analog stick and everything, just being able to really, control them from tiptoeing to a full sprint.
So it was
Yeah.
like the first thing you ate was a steak dinner. And then they're like, all right, well, now you got to have like some...
Now it's a hungry man. So.
yeah, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Or even, I don't know. It's like stick shift versus manual in a car.
You stick shift versus automatic.
Automatic. I don't know.
It's a difference.
I don't fucking know
You
cars.
said the same thing twice in a row.
Well,
a minute ago.
It's like D-pad versus like a directional pad.
Joystick versus like thumbstick.
I used a joystick though. I used the analog stick though.
Mine didn't default to working on my Xbox One controller, so I just used the D-pad on that.
I always go in anytime. I mean, I haven't emulated a lot. Anytime I use my emulator, I go in and I customize my.
It wasn't
Did
weird
you-
because it's not 8-directional. It's
Yeah, it's just 4 directions. Yeah.
but
It has like
I
clearly,
guess the
clearly
dead zone
defined.
would work. And,
Yeah,
I
Alright.
turned on. I had to turn on analog. Mm-hmm. Like how
Right.
the PlayStation controllers used to have analog.
Oh my god,
analog
yeah.
button.
So I
Forgot
had
about
to, so I
that.
had to set like down on the
No
D-pad
clue.
was my analog button. So I hit that and then I could because at first I
Oh.
couldn't even turn right with the analog stick.
Oh
Right, you
yeah, you
wouldn't-
said
yeah,
that.
you wouldn't
yeah,
be able to.
but if I turned once I turned analog on, I was able to get a full range of motion.
But that said, again, like you said, 15, 20 minutes into the game, I was like, I think I get it. I found the
Yeah.
controls to be surprisingly smooth when it was like kind of the biggest thing I was concerned about going in. Aside from a few combat scenarios, I didn't really use the sidestep was useful sometimes because
Never got that to be useful for me.
yeah. So I think part of it, so I played it on easy for the most part.
I also played it on easy.
And Jordan played on normal,
Yeah.
and we'll get into how that
Affected me.
sucked shit eventually. But I think you did. You kind of got into an issue where the game was frustrating on normal. And I
started
suggested
on-
playing on easy.
Yeah.
But I think putting on easy also made the game boring for you in a lot of ways because you mentioned that you didn't think the combat was engaging and stuff. And it's like a lot of the melee where you're like, it's about like it's almost similar to like Dark Souls where there's big telegraphed attacks and
Yeah.
you really need to make sure you don't have a parry, but you have your dodge, and
Yeah.
you can dodge in 3 directions.
And the enemies, they don't all attack the same, but each enemy type, has the same attack pattern that they'll come at you with, where they either grab you or whatever. And I really utilized the backwards jump.
yeah,
That backwards jump was super,
I use that
super
more than the
useful for
sidestep.
me. Yeah, the sidestep was mostly like that was good for the dogs and the pterodactyls. You know what I mean? But then when you're fighting like the people, you know what I mean? Like those, yeah.
but on easy, you can basically get by with just using the handgun on almost everything.
Yeah.
Actually, you can use the handgun on everything. It's just advisable to use the heavier guns on bosses because otherwise, I think one of the first bosses I read can take up to 60 handgun bullets to defeat.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. It was rough because like we talk about the telegraphing and everything of the attacks. Like the dog will like jump at you, and it has some air time before it gets to you. So in that time, if you're queued up, but the camera angles jump around so much that they're usually off camera. If in my experience,
That was
enemies
my-
were generally off camera,
That was my biggest complaint.
and then they'd
with-
swoop in and get you.
Yeah, like with the entire game, I'd say.
I only had that problem with the pterodactyl things.
Yeah, with the camera, with the
Dogs got me. The
I had it
guys.
with the dogs and the guys, but it wasn't always. With the dogs and the guys, it was only sometimes. Like the pterodactyls
shouldn't
are
say-
designed to fly out of view into the
Yeah.
fog and
Yeah.
come back.
It
That's
wasn't
what they do.
every single enemy. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong.
But then, like with the dog, with the weird gimp suit dogmen, and then the actual dogs, like
what the fuck was
but
that?
that was really weird. That was a really weird. We'll
a
get into
weird-
that later.
weird guy.
But with both of them, it was like occasionally it was just it goes into that weird. It's always in third person, always, but usually it's kind of a top up camera coming looking down at you from an angle. Occasionally it's almost like directly behind you and low to the ground a little bit, but it's like right here. You know what I mean? It's almost like someone standing directly behind you to your right with a camera. And so if anything's coming from you anywhere other than right
I see
here,
what you mean. Yeah,
you cannot see it.
your
You know what I
cone.
mean? Because you have no field of view.
Yeah.
You can see about this far away from you, it feels
Yeah, so
like
I just
behind
run
you.
forward a little bit, turn around, get ready.
Yeah, I would try to, but sometimes I wasn't fast enough.
I can
you know what
never
I mean?
get.
Like,
But then
I knew they were coming, but you know what I mean? I'd just be too slow. I did a lot of shooting off screen, too.
I think the
Yeah,
other thing is
it's like, I
you
hope
know,
it's hitting.
You're supposed to run a lot.
Yes.
Ideally. Combat's not supposed to be the first option in a lot of scenarios. And I think something that, has started to come back a little bit, but never the same way as it was in the first wave of survival horror, is like the tank controls, the sort of non-viability of combat, and when you are in combat, it's almost like you're underwater or like you're in a dream and you're trying to move your limbs, they're not going the way you want them to.
Yeah.
it's all intended to create the feeling of like,
Anxiety and
fear and
uneasiness,
anxiety
yeah.
and just like, being trapped. And I do think that it's effective in doing that.
I felt helpless
but
as
also
fuck.
like, does that mean fun gameplay? And I think newer games have found ways to mitigate that and kind of like,
Yeah.
you can still feel like your character is at a disadvantage, but it's not always like you're not struggling to do what you want to do. Well,
I think Resident
You know
Evil
what I'm trying to
4.
say?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I think...
you don't feel like it's like the game's fault.
Yeah, I think there's a game that captured it really well was the first Outlast game, where that was like, you literally don't have a weapon, so combat isn't viable. Not just like, you're not very good at fighting.
Is that where you go into the?
You go into an insane asylum with nothing but a camera
Yeah,
with night
okay.
vision, you know what
I
I
know
mean?
that game.
Most of it's just
I have
running and
watched the
hiding.
Game Grumps play
And
that.
there's a lot of like,
Fact check that.
Yeah, somebody in the comments make sure they made that video.
Sure. There's a lot of moments where you're like, fuck, you know what I mean? You do feel that helplessness and stuff like that, but then you just see, oh, I can hide here, or there's this
Yeah.
thing I can get under, or oh, I just went the wrong way. There's always, it doesn't feel like it's the game fucking you over. I feel like they did a good job with that.
Like
You know what I mean?
Then another example of Resident Evil 4. Instead of like impairing your mobility, they try to overwhelm you with like, oh my god, how could I ever defeat all these enemies?
Right, you get flanked a lot.
But then you
And
move
I
around a
preferred
little, but you
those
can keep
controls
moving.
too, where it was like moving around was easier, and then when
God.
you had to attack, you just went into the. It was the same kind of way you have to attack in Silent Hill, where it's
You have
like
to stop.
aim.
once you attack, you stop, and you can move from that position. But like then, if you want to attack someone to your left, you have to like come to a full stop, rotate all the way over.
Yeah, I
and
think you can
fucking-
only move with the handgun. I think you can move with your gun drawn.
You can move with the handgun, the
But as soon as you
shotgun.
fire, you stop moving, I think.
That sounds right. I
The
think so, yeah.
handgun, shotgun, you can start firing. I have footage of this because it was when I was unloading all of my ammo to try to beat the boss again.
Oh yeah.
Which I read online, if you unload all your ammo before the boss chamber, the game like makes you skip that fight. That's not. I guess someone
FYI,
that's trolling.
It's fucking not true.
That's very
that's
funny.
That's from like a GameFAQs post from like 18 years ago.
Yeah,
That's
so.
literally like what the bully, like the asshole kid would say on a recess at
I
lunch.
just went in.
So
with
get rid of
nothing
all
to
your
defend
ammo,
my-
save your game, and then go in.
I had nothing to defend myself. I walked in and just waited for the
Final boss.
to end, and then suddenly it was just like, no, he just murdered.
And then he just like starts running. You're like, wait.
I gave you some bad intel there.
so good. It was funny.
You can only have one save
Are
file,
you
so
gonna
delete
say,
the other
you know,
ones.
the rifle.
The rifle is the only weapon that you can't move with.
And it's the most
While
powerful
you're wielding it,
in
yeah.
the game of the base weapons, not
Yes.
the secret weapons, because you can also get a secret alien blaster if you if you complete the secret alien quest. But
You're telling the truth.
yes, I really am.
That's a real thing. in
Matt
this
sent me
game.
the alternate ending last night, and I really I like messaged back trying to like not sound stupid. I was like, can't believe this is in the game. If it's real.
Yeah. The game. We'll get into the endings eventually, but the games all do contain joke endings and possible joke endings.
Which I think is fun.
Yeah, I love that kind of shit. This game famously used the fog to mask the draw distance issues that the PlayStation had. You know, and Nintendo 64 games did something similar. A lot of the time, there's like, you know, the Nintendo 64 haze in a lot of outdoor areas.
Yeah.
And if you go into like the game files, you'll see that like a lot of the, you know, stores, the trees and tops of buildings are just not modeled at all.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. This game is, I think, like 593 megabytes or something. It's
Very-
like
yeah.
shockingly, shockingly small.
So I thought that was effective, and
Shut up. Oh, bless you. But shut up.
I thought that was effective, and I didn't really find it like, I don't know, I didn't find it like hard to see sometimes in the distance that an enemy was coming at me, and I kind of did like that, like you see like a silhouette or just like a
Yeah,
shadowy figure,
like the-
and and then you also have your radio. And I want to ask you guys if you guys did this at all. What?
I was a big idiot with the radio the first time. So I started the game on normal, and then I played for a while, and then I was like, I don't know about this, guys. And then you said, try it on easy. And I was like, okay. And then everything was much better. But when I had the radio, I thought it was a spatial audio cue. That I thought because it's a radio, but it sounds like a phone ring. It has like a hiss, like a shh, like
Yeah.
static.
Yeah.
But it also has like a ring, like almost like a telephone ringing.
Yeah, it's different noises for different things.
So I thought that was because I kept hearing it a little bit out of the left, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's like there's something over there. I should go check out. There's a phone ringing. I should go ring because there's phones to
just
ring.
like
I kept running around.
just fucking going in
Literally,
circles.
yeah, for a while. Like maybe like not. I'm not gonna say 10 minutes, but I kept being. It's all right. I kept being like, where the fuck? Like, because I thought that's where I was supposed to go.
Well, it's where you're not supposed to go.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, really.
And it took me a while. And I was like, because I wasn't cueing in that like, oh, it's only where the monsters are. That's
Right.
when the static
And
is
I
happening.
did play like the first hour of Silent Hill 2, like the bad port, like 6 months ago. I played the first 2 or 3 hours.
Was there also a stereo or radio?
Yeah, it's the same mechanics basically. It's just like a little more. It's just it's more refined.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people see it as the superior game and the best game of the
I can
series.
understand that.
But so I was aware of that after a minute, and I think they even like explain it in like a pop up or something. But
Yeah, when you pick
like
up
launching
the-
this, I could be like, well, the game doesn't tell you how it
Yeah,
works. I don't
I'm
think.
pretty sure they tell you the
in
moment you pick it up.
In the
Oh, really? That
Yeah, like
it
if
tells you.
I knew exactly how the radio worked. I like you guys are describing it. I'm like, I know you accidentally skipped like the cafe cutscene,
I did. I had to watch it.
but I'm like,
yeah.
it just tells you. When you pick
I
up
just
the
remember
radio,
going,
it's just like
a radio. What's with that radio?
like it will. It said it will emit a noise when enemies are nearby.
I don't remember
Oh
that.
Yeah.
shit!
Well, regardless, you can turn your
90s.
light.
Stupid cryptic fucking bullshit game.
You can turn your light and your radio off to kind of like become invisible to enemies almost. Like they'll, not entirely, but
Like trying to look like you're a monk in Assassin's Creed, where you just put your hands
Just
together.
not draw attention to them from a distance.
I don't know that.
Or to
yeah,
yourself.
I didn't know that either until reading about it later. But
Yeah.
it's like
I
so,
kept
like,
accidentally turning off my flashlight all the time. I was
the,
like, fuck.
it might have seemed like sometimes combat was unavoidable.
Yes.
Never unavoidable. Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, because
Rarely, except for bosses.
Yeah, because a lot of time you can. I mentioned to Andrew, there's an entire scene where it's like, if reading into it afterwards, they're like, the
Yeah.
combat here is the hardest. There's like a new enemy type introduced that's really strong. I just sprinted past everything.
You can blast
I didn't
ass
fight a
through 'em.
single person. I just sprinted the whole way through. Just ran
But you-
past everything.
that-
But
but-
it's an option.
But then you
Yeah.
also run the risk of hitting a locked door, and then there's 12 guys behind you.
Yeah, that is a risk. I,
So it is.
Right.
It's
a risk I
oddly
took.
compelling. You're like, I don't
it
know
didn't
which one
work
I
out
should
for me
do.
the first run through. I'll tell you that.
In the sewers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the sewers.
that's some place where you could definitely hit a couple dead
Yeah.
ends.
The
Yeah.
second bout in the sewer, I just sprinted straight through.
Yeah.
So, as gameplay relates to sound, sound is a concept we're discussing. I'd like to discuss the sound a little more in depth now. It's a very clean transition. Sound design in this game is incredible.
Yeah.
I thought it was so fucking good. Like the music, just awesome all the way around. Just like really unexpected sounds in terms of like the style of the music and the instrumentation. Like using a lot of like industrial and shit. Like I didn't
man.
expect any of that. And then when it was like, I don't know, like some like bossa nova thing or like some like Spanish guitar or something, I was like, oh wow, that's,
that's like-
unexpected.
It was-
I love
yeah.
the intro song that plays when you start the game, and then I believe it's just like the theme of Silent Hill. You know what I
think
mean?
so,
It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, that
that
weird-
fucking that's
killing
that
that
sticks
mandolin
with
or
me.
whatever.
You know what I mean? So that like that's so eerie. That's such an eerie sound.
Did
Like so fucking. It's always a fascinating thing to me where I'm like, how do people discover, like, what makes a sound fucking scary? You know what I mean? It's just a note,
Well,
but like it's so interesting.
just like reading about it, the team was like not into the music at first and thought like it was glitching. Because he'd use like a ring modulator. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys know what that sound is, but it's basically
Ridiculous.
that like it sounds like if you have like an electronic toy and the batteries are dying, and it's like so
Yeah.
it's like kind of bit crushing but also warping at the same time.
I thought my audio was fucked up when I started the game, and then it wasn't, but it was for the dialogue.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's weird. We never figured that one out, right?
Nope.
No.
And it would just be fine sometimes also.
Well, regardless, he had to kind of like pitch it to him really hard and be like, "No, trust me, like this is gonna work for the game." It did. I mean, that the composer, whose name is escaping me right now, I think is the only person who stayed on for like the entirety of the series in different capacities.
Oh, it was-
And like
was
you
Kyle
mentioned last
Gass.
night, he was
From Tenacious D.
Oh, and he did the music, and was an advisor on Silent Hill the movie, which I got not for $9.99, but I think I got it for free out of a box of garbage.
fuck yeah.
And it's I watched it last night in preparation for this shoot.
Is that Cheryl?
It's Shannon, I think her name is in this one.
Oh,
They don't call her.
It's not. They changed it
They
for
call
Cheryl.
her
shit.
because they call her the same name as Randy's wife's name in South Park.
This is
Because Sharon.
Sharon. Oh my God.
Because when
oh
we
my
watched
God.
This, I just in middle school we ruined this movie for ourselves by
my God.
we just kept doing the Randy voice.
Sharon.
As he's walking around
Right.
the town looking for Sharon.
Yeah, because we watched this together.
We watched it together. Yeah.
Sorry, we're all over the place right now. We're trying to talk about the sound, but because you brought up the movie, I have seen this film in middle school as did Jordan. We watched it together at our friend's house, and I don't remember it at all. I'd like to watch it now that I've played the game.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Was
movie.
it okay? Yeah. That was what you thought?
I thought it really kind of lost the thread at like 75% through. Where
Yeah.
I go, oh man,
remember,
I
like-
don't think that this version of the cult is as compelling as the one that's in the game.
Yeah.
This one's a lot more fleshed out
Yeah.
in the movie. Like they explain the whole.
Don't they get like Resident Evil 4E? Like there's like giant like transformations and like a church, like a bug.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, some similar things. Although my understanding is that this also takes from the other games in the series as well. I mean, Pyramid Head's there, and he's
Yeah.
only in Silent Hill 2.
Oh, that's right.
Doesn't appear until, I should
Yes.
say. I was surprised at how much it went almost shot for shot with parts of the first game.
Wow.
It was just cool to see like a movie that was willing to be faithful to the source material and be like, especially a game that's like trying to be cinematic. Like, as much as people can bitch about like the camera issues and combat or whatever, I understand that, but the actual presentation of the game, like the way shots are composed, is like so good. It's got such a good
Can
look.
I say about the movie before we get off?
I'm gonna just say one thing about the camera angles. The camera
Please.
angles are only bad in the context of combat.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? Otherwise, they're
cinematic,
otherwise they're
but the-
beautiful
They're
shots.
cinematic and cool as fuck.
And the movie was like, oh, cool. Let's use that as a
Yeah.
jumping off point
Yeah.
and not like just fucking trash that idea.
Good idea. Good brain.
But also, it's not that great.
It's a fine
I'd
movie.
say it's like a solid.
Give it a 62 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, maybe like a 5.5 or a 6. You know, for especially as a video game movie. You know, it's definitely no Postal the movie.
We should do our little spit take to it or whatever that's called, the riff tracks. But I did after we watched this movie in middle school. It's very funny. I forgot that I either knew or forgot or just like I don't know. It's at my friend's house. If they started watching a movie, I couldn't just like not watch it. My high
I
school.
would go like this. And turn around and go,
Yeah. My girlfriend at the time, apparently we had made serious plans to eventually, at some point, watch this movie together. And when we watched it at our friend's house, eventually she found out. I don't remember if I told her or what.
He was hiding it from her for weeks.
But she literally, my memory is that she started screaming and crying and ran away from me. She was so upset that I had watched Silent Hill with
Him and
her.
we were all 13. It was horrible, right?
I think I was 16, so
No, we weren't that old yet. You said middle school. We were watching. I mean, we were probably 14, 15.
I don't know anymore.
Doesn't matter.
And
That's Andrew's.
that was pretty wild.
But
drama.
Akira,
Toriyama.
Kurosawa.
is that his name?
That's the guy who created Dragon Ball.
Oh.
I don't know. You messaged it to us last night, and I can't fucking remember.
Akira.
Asada.
Osama.
It's,
I'm not going to pronounce this correctly.
It's Asa.
Oh, that's right.
Apparently.
Akira Yamaoka.
Sure.
Apologies. His contributions to this film and to the game, incredible. I just couldn't get
Immeasurable.
over like the atmosphere, you know, like the fog and stuff. That's effective. The other world, I mentioned you guys. It's basically Hellraiser mixed with Jacob's Ladder.
And I definitely got the Hellraiser vibes 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the barbed wire and the the chains and stuff. And the Jacob's Ladder is really mostly the one big scene, the hospital scene from Jacob's Ladder, but also, and I don't know if it happens in the games. I can't remember, but especially in the Silent Hill movies, like that weird warpy motion thing the nurses do and stuff with their faces.
Oh, yeah.
That was first established in Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, okay.
Like speeding up the footage,
They really
having to make
changed
a
the,
fucking crazy face for a while.
Because the classic Silent Hill nurse they're used to seeing isn't in Silent Hill 1.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not.
Yeah,
They're
it's a very minor character.
They're just like regular people.
I mean, maybe Lisa.
You know what I mean?
They
It's
appear
like-
to have some
it's,
sort of parasite in their back.
Yeah.
Yes, which is reminiscent of Resident Evil 4 and a lot of
Yeah.
the Resident Evil games, where it's the Las Plagas.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Matt, I'm feeling pretty lifted while I'm drinking this Guyaki yerba mate tea.
We're really trying to get the gyaki.
Organic.
You know, I don't
Organic.
like the ones that have sugar in them, but if I'm gonna go for one at all, it is the sparkling grapefruit ginger.
Sparkling
So it might be
grapefruit
9
ginger.
grams of sugar.
It has that's way as far as sugar count, we're talking about 10 grams.
Okay, not too bad.
Not too crazy, but the amount of caffeine is lifted. I'm really
Yeah.
feeling lifted right now.
Uh,
Thanks, Guyaki.
I couldn't believe how much the sound added to the atmosphere, and also just, did you guys get goofed on by the fake out sound effects ever?
Yeah.
Yes, because there was a couple ones where it sounded like. Because there's a fucking moment where you'll hear the same sound later, and it's the floor falling out in front of you. Mm-hmm. But that sound would just happen a couple times.
Oh, okay.
And it was clearly, it seemed like it was happening on a beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like,
It would happen when you'd return
and
to
I was
rooms.
like, huh? You know what I mean? I was like, what's going on around? I was like, something behind me's falling.
There
or
is some
collapsing.
sort of
But then later in
terror.
the game, that same sound happened, and it was the floor falling out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was like, fuck, you fucking. Fucker.
Yeah. There was a few times where it was foreshadowing, or
have
freaking
you watched?
out.
Have you used Matt Hall specifically? Did you watch the '90s Berserk anime? Do you sample
quite
it?
Possibly.
A lot of the
I know there's a bunch of different adaptations.
I jerk off to a
Yeah.
lot of anime.
so it's really hard to keep it all straight.
I've definitely seen the first episode or first chapter of, I think, all the different iterations, but
Okay.
I can't remember which is which.
That's fair. In my humble opinion, the '90s anime is probably, except for maybe the movies, is the best Berserk adaptation or adaption, which is a word people are using nowadays. Anyway, a lot of the music, it reminded me of some of the music from that, where it does have that industrial. I think people who have seen it be like, oh yeah, some of the tracks from Berserk had that same, especially combat sequences. There's this weird I don't even know. You can't really. I don't even know what instrument it is.
Sometimes
It's
it
just
literally
almost
just sounds like somebody's hitting two pieces of
Yeah.
metal together.
but
saw that.
rhythmically.
I'm just
So
paranoid. That was dust. The second one.
and it seemed like those jump scares, like the audio things, would happen on repeat visits to a room. So it wouldn't happen every time. Or if you fuck, I keep going in the wrong room. Eventually, it would happen that time. And there is that effective terror of my camera's facing this way in front of me. The sound is clearly behind me.
Yeah.
I gotta turn around as fast as possible to see if I'm about to get wrecked.
Which is there's also, not to get back to game mechanics, but if you can hit left or right bumper to go left or right.
Yeah.
If you hit both at the same time, it's a quick turnaround. And I didn't get that. You get a
I
lot.
didn't know that.
Let
Are
me
you
tell
dicking
I don't
me?
think they put a quick turnaround in Resident Evil till the third game.
I
got a-
thought I tried that
I
shit.
got a lot of helpful hints and tips in the 40 times I died. Because every time you die, it gives you another tip. You know what I mean? And I learned a lot
liked
of
those
shit
tips.
from doing
That
that.
was nice.
Yeah.
I only died.
Wow.
I only died once.
I used 11 continues, and then I didn't save after the 40 that I had, so those 11 were just regular games.
Wow.
Well, I want to ask last thing. We already discussed it kind of, but
I'm sorry to cut you
Shut
off.
the fuck
Before we get away from sound, the door. Okay, so there's two things that I noticed. Sometimes it was too loud, especially on some of those more cinematic, synthy, sharp horror movie, just atmospheric synthy, those things. It was cutting my ears in half. I had to turn that shit down. But also specifically, when you're in the sewers and you open up the door. Do you guys remember that one? It makes this almost goofy
Oh, okay.
And it just
I maybe
kept
remember that,
making
yeah.
that
'Cause it's supposed to be like
noise.
you're opening like a
like a creaky door.
metal,
a
yeah,
rusty
a
door, but
creaky
I don't know
metal
if it
door.
was the compression or whatever, but it just sounded literally very like me doing
I'll try
that.
to pull it here for reference.
Steph was watching me play at some point, and it made her laugh every time heard it.
Yeah, it's like the doubled audio caused for an amount of confusion in my home a couple times. Yeah, suddenly you're just it's Harry Mason talking, and he's like, wait, hey.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, but sometimes
happen to me.
in
No,
the
me
dialogue, I know I think that was the issue with my ROM, where a lot of the dialogue was doubled, and then suddenly
my
it
God,
would
that's
seem like
hilarious.
it seemed like they
Whoa,
had
whoa,
two
whoa, whoa,
separate
whoa, whoa, whoa.
audio tracks going. You know what I mean? As if they had left and right, and then occasionally they would catch back up with each other.
Wow.
And then it would mesh for a while, and then they'd be talking normal, and then
And
it
they
would
would drift?
The next one would start, and it would be fucked up again.
I didn't experience any tech issues.
Well, eventually we'll talk
I
about
did.
we'll talk about dialogue, but I think if you're gonna play a game that has that issue, that's probably the best game because it's you could hear a lot of times where they're say this is the take, I am talking about a thing, and then there is this thing that'll happen, and then the final thing. They'll break that up into I am talking about a thing. and then this thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's because they're trying to do a David Lynch.
I hated it.
Whether it's effective or not, it's supposed to be surreal. It's supposed to feel like
was.
you're in a dream.
Every
I could see where they hear when you cut the
They
take.
interviewed the guy who did Harry's voice, and like he was doing takes, and they're like, "You're good, but can you like pause after every line?" And the guy who did Harry Mason is also. You guys probably only know this from the meme, but Dracula from Symphony of the Night.
What's the?
he's a very very
What is a
grotesque
man?
looking, yeah.
Oh, really? He's the one that
That's
does
the same
that?
guy, that's Harry.
But a miserable pile of piss and shit and
That's a
cum
game we
or
should do
whatever.
for the show sometime. That game, I've played more and more of it now. I haven't beaten it yet, but it's very fucking cool.
Okay.
Uh,
A lot of the animated cutscenes, not like the in-game cutscenes, because the in-game ones where you're just talking, and those are hilarious sometimes. 'Cause
God,
it'll
they were
switch from
goofy.
it'll switch from the animated. Like Lisa was the biggest one I noticed. It shows you Lisa in animated, and you're like, hot nurse lady, and then it cuts to her, and it's like the side view, and her fucking nose is like that, and her face is all jagged.
Yeah, with
and,
that
like, she
weird
was-
PlayStation.
Yeah, because it was just
warping.
PlayStation's all polygons or whatever. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It was funny.
the cutscenes were all done by one person.
Damn.
All by hand. I've been on a kick with the trivia, but they didn't have like any Americans for like skull models.
Oh, okay.
So like, they all, they just were like, I believe this is what American head shapes look like and stuff. Which I
Yeah.
mean, it's good.
It's pretty solid, yeah. Those they look pretty good, but what I was getting to is that those have the most Lynchian vibe to them.
Oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
especially like that initial cafe, like Harry waking up in the cafe, like
Huh?
you know what I mean. And I don't
feet
know,
look
so
so weird.
many of the scenes have a very David Lynch.
I thought it rivaled.
big time.
Do you remember like Final Fantasy 7? Was it 7 one with Cloud? Mm-hmm. Like I remember watching my older brothers play that on PlayStation when I was a kid, and you'd get those cutscenes where like there's the one where like Cloud is like riding his motorcycle and he like crashes through a window.
Yeah. Mhm.
I was like, that is I was like, this is the peak of computer generated images. Nothing will ever top
the
this.
pinnacle of 3D.
It's very
animation.
good. Yeah.
The only weird character model thing I noticed was Cheryl's head was like a full grown woman's head on a small body.
A little bit big. It's
Really,
it
like
felt
she had a
like-
big
I just have
neck.
a big head.
I've
but
been
it, like,
around-
it was
I've
like
been
they-
a lot of been around a lot of toddlers. I haven't been a toddler lately.
Yeah, it's been
But
a
I
while.
don't remember what my head was like then. So.
It was as if they took
have
a
seen
full-ass
some kids
woman.
where you go, God damn, pumpkin head. What is going on
Fucking,
here?
So I married an axe murderer, where he's like, it's like a peach on a toothpick. It's like a ginger kid with a big head, and he's like,
That's rough.
it's Mike Myers.
No, but yeah, the guy who did those scenes worked on them, I think, for like 2 years all by himself, and
Fuck.
he was just like, he was one of the first people at Konami who really knew 3D, and was like, did a lot of uncredited work where he would help superiors, help people on other projects like with 3D, and then they would be credited, and they didn't even want to credit him on this game. at
Why?
first.
That guy fucks hard. That stuff looks
Because
so good.
he was young and disrespectful and wasn't, I think it's because they wanted people to kind of eat more shit. Like apparently, and this is just from, my research on this, and there's some inconsistencies because of the language barrier. There's only like one or two people on the team that speak English.
Okay.
And are public
Right.
about their work. So there's translation issues and stuff here and there, but my understanding is that most of the people who were involved in this, it was their first game, or they were people who weren't doing well at the company and planned to leave and were kind of like put all into one kind of place where there was kind of like a, just like a group of people who weren't really going anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's like, have you ever seen Silicon Valley?
Yes.
No.
Loved it.
Big Head.
Yeah.
When he doesn't get fired, but they're like, we have no more work for you to do, and he's like, I'm
you
here
showed me
though,
this,
and he's
yeah.
like, am I fired? And they're like, no, you're not fired, but we don't have anything. So
God.
he goes to the roof, and there's just like 15 other guys who are in that
Just
same
hanging out.
position.
Then they make the best game they've ever made. All right, so we pretty much touch on the graphics. I would say overall, super effective in communicating the tone with it. I'd say I do have some issues with the gameplay being a little frustrating at points. And I understand, especially on easy, you're not getting the full experience.
Yeah.
But on normal, it could be prohibitive to some players who aren't ready for that kind of thing.
Which I feel like I wasn't. That's why.
Yeah, and I know I wasn't because I'm not good at the old school survival horrors. I love
Yeah.
them. I love everything about them. But if I can't do it without like feeling terrible,
Yeah.
it ruins the experience. So it's kind of a thing where it's like, I just kind of take it as it comes, but the atmosphere of the game is so strong, and I can see how it just like it, even though it wears its influences on its sleeve between David Lynch, Hellraiser, Jacob's Ladder, and the team was vocal about their influences and trying to do a certain thing.
Yeah.
It's like such a good mix.
Oh my god, yeah.
And you can just see it echoing for generations forward.
I do. They're very smart with their asset use, because a lot of the game you return to the same places that you were previously, and a lot of like a core concept. Do we have a name for the alternate world?
So there's
I heard it was altered.
Otherworld.
Other
What
world.
they refer to it in the game.
Okay.
And so commonly people call it the Fog World and the Otherworld.
Okay.
Because you start the game in, we'll say prime reality, and then as you go into Silent Hill and you car crash, that's where you enter the Fog World. And it seems like they're both manifestations of Alessa's psychic projection in different ways. We'll get into all that eventually.
But the whenever you enter the other world, it's the same structural place with just different textures, which is a genius idea. That means they don't have to do as much work. They don't have to create an entire new environment. Just swap what it looks like.
Yeah.
And there's still changes. It's not like it was that easy.
Yeah.
But that did get confusing at times because you return to a different, to a place you've already been. You're like, did I go in here?
The
Did
maps
I
were
go?
super helpful, because I got to be honest, in the
my
hospital
God.
specifically a few times, I was kind of like, what fucking room?
The doors are all the same colors. There's not a lot of landmarks.
Yeah.
Best
Not a
map
lot of landmarks.
I've had in a survival horror game by
Oh my
far.
God,
and the way, if you went to a locked door, so your character, as you learn things, your character updates your map. So there was times where I was like, I don't know where to go in the game. And I'd be like, oh, there's a thing on my map. So anything
that was great.
like an area you could go into was automatically just had like a red over it, like a translucent light red.
But even, to go even further beyond, rooms that you just could not enter had the scribble.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to say it?
Well, I was gonna go into on layers. So on the outdoor map, anything you can go into had like a light red thing over it. There would often be notes on an arrow pointing, this is what this place is.
Or even it would just be circled because you're need to go here.
Right.
You know
And
what I
then when you go inside of places, if there's a locked door you can't open, yes, it's scribbled. Or if there's a door that goes both ways, and there'd be a little arrow showing this lets you go from this area to this area, and it was just
Doors that you could
really good.
unlock.
Doors that you've already been through with an X. You know what I mean? You're you've already been in and out of this room.
That
blah, blah, blah.
that single-handedly saved a tremendous amount of frustration. The only time that I had to look up a map is in the last part of the game. It's called Nowhere. That's where you're going into a lot of the same.
Yeah,
you
that's
do
the
not have a
challenge.
map. Yeah, and I only had to look it up because I took a break in the middle of that, and I didn't realize I was on the last step. And then I was like, I know what room I need to go
That's
to.
fair. There's
what
moments where-
fucking room was it?
I'll say even I took a couple breaks that were just an hour. You know what I mean? Not even a full day. And I'd come back and I'd kind of be like, I need to look at my map for
It's like
30
you gotta-
seconds to a minute.
I played Nowhere all in one shot. I think otherwise I would not have had the.
I should,
yeah.
I made a mental map.
should have,
that
yeah.
and it is.
it's not impossible because all
No,
the doors.
it's good design.
Yeah, half the doors are labeled in that one, so you can be like, oh well, that's this one, so that's near this, and it was easy to figure out. I'm honestly, I know I've complained and joked about playing it on normal and that being harder. I'm really glad I fully experienced this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I can honestly say not using save states. Until the very end, I didn't do anything questionable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
same
always
here.
back up my in-game save with the save state, but
that's
I
fair.
was tried to be sure not to cheat.
Just
with
save
states.
spam.
And
It's like,
you also
why?
you kind of have to pat it on the back too, because it didn't just make up the maps for what they wanted it to be. Every floor felt kind of samey because it's a real building.
Yeah.
If you're in
if you're in a hospital-
if you're in an industrial building,
Yeah,
or a
it's shaped
commercial building,
this. You know what I mean?
Like a
so it
U,
has to
like
be
a horseshoe.
hallway
Yeah.
with rooms,
Yeah.
and then stairs.
that's what every floor is
just-
going to be.
That's just how it is.
And the hospitals like that, the schools like that, and I got to give it to them because they could have just made a map that they wanted to make.
They could have
And every
made-
floor could have been different, but
Could've been
it's not
an-
like that.
Some of those games where you're this is an impossible structure if you look at the map of the
Yeah.
different floors. You know what I mean?
Most games are like that, but they made
this
that
game
shit
was
real.
Yeah,
actually.
they're very these stark institutional buildings that just they're like that, and I think the town map was also very realistic. Like
Yeah.
all the different sections.
There's little alleyways you can cut through to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's,
it was
You
all
like,
very well crafted.
I liked Stephen King Lane and
Yeah,
and
all
Kuntz Avenue
They
or
were all
whatever,
named
like,
after
shut the
authors.
fuck up.
There's a lot of references
Yeah.
throughout the game. Basically, every name was a reference.
You pointed that out, and I didn't realize one of the bigger ones, which is like
Oh, the names, the teachers in the school are all
Yeah.
the members of Sonic Youth.
which like I saw the K Gordon key, and I was like that name was like I was like that's familiar, but I just thought I had seen it earlier. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's why I just brushed it off. But
You
I'm
may
like,
have. Also, yeah, I mean, the names of the characters in the game are references to different actors and actresses, or people, or writers.
Perry Mason, right? I imagine that was a reference to Perry Mason.
I don't know who Perry Mason is.
Oh,
No,
he's
do
like
I.
it's like a.
Is he an actor?
No, Perry Mason is a character from like old
Oh.
crime detective novels. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Where he was like a criminal defense attorney who like exonerated murderers. You know what I mean? Like he would go and find the actual murderer. You know, as an attorney or whatever.
He's like, you're a
So
bad
it's like, Perry
guy.
Mason, you're not a cop. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
believe I
that
saw a
kind
reference to Psychic TV, the band in there, and I also
Is this like 90s stuff? Like I don't.
of- You don't know who Sonic Youth is? I mean,
I
I
know the
don't know the
name.
names of Sonic Youth members.
Yeah,
you know what
I
mean?
couldn't
But-
tell you any
I
of
mean,
their songs.
it isn't,
Familiar with the
it
band,
isn't
but-
from past the 90s.
What
This
did you
game came out
call?
in 99.
Would you say Panic TV? What is that?
Psychic TV?
Is that a band? That's a band as well.
Psychic TV is a band.
Wow.
I think it's a lot of stuff that you wouldn't like.
Oh.
We could
But-
make another joke about how Andrew only likes music made by guys. Like, that was one of my favorite jokes in the 1,000 comment. I mean, 1,000 subscribers.
I don't remember
on the
it.
video. You don't remember it?
He didn't watch
Oh,
the video.
You didn't
I
watch
did.
The
I
video?
listened to
There
it.
was a. We were talking.
That's what I'm saying.
We were
I put in
singing
a lot of visual gags.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
saw some of them.
Yeah, well, I don't need to explain it to you right now.
They'd be funny.
I also thought it was funny that there was so many pun names on the buildings. Like there was a Shell station that said Hell,
Yeah. Burger Queen or Queen Burger.
Queen Burger, and there was a McDonald's allegory as well. And
There was also like the Virgin Mobile that wasn't quite.
I thought-
Virgin.
it was
Yeah.
the Vestal
Yeah.
Gigastore instead of Virgin Megastore.
Yeah.
And Vestal Virgins. You can look that up.
Yeah.
But it
What was
was
the-
very, very funny.
What was your favorite shop that you found?
I got a kick out of the Andy shop.
he
It was
got
also-
kicked
It
out.
was like Andy Bookstore or whatever, and then later there was another little facade that just
Yeah.
said Andy Shop.
Yeah.
yeah, boy. I got my own spot.
NDH.
That's where I'm at.
I don't know. The Vestal
NDH,
Gigastore
yeah.
is
You
pretty
should know what
high
that
up
is.
there.
Vestal Gigastore is pretty hilarious.
That was.
But there's a lot. I mean, I spent some time
It was kind of like
just
yeah,
looking at the
GTA.
buildings and
Yeah.
just kind of going through.
I did that on purpose in the shopping district because you guys were sending so many screenshots, and I was gonna kind of just rush through that area, and then I was like, no, I should take it in a little bit. You know what I mean? I ran through like streets I didn't need to.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
for
fucking-
how samey some of the environments could be in the game, they kind of went all out with that kind of stuff, and they
Yeah.
also used some unaltered, well, or even I guess I should say like slightly altered copyrighted logos and stuff, which I thought was that's a
Yeah.
very Japanese bold kind of thing you'd see in older games. Like I don't know, even just like it's like I think it was Ninja Gaiden just had like Spider-Man and Batman and shit as bosses, like early editions that had to be like patched out of like later editions of the game.
Jesus Christ.
I also, if we're talking about like, like American, like I don't know, they never did they specify what
Like,
like
you fight fucking Mothra in this game. You know?
it's
like,
pretty much just Mothra,
you
man.
fight Mothra.
Do they specify where Silent Hill is? Like, does it take
Maine.
place? Of course, it fucking does. Just like
it's Stephen
every,
King.
yeah, just like every
Everything
guy.
scary happens in Maine.
Well, even there you go, Alan Wake. The first line is a quote from Stephen King. Okay, like I've never been to Maine. You guys been to Maine? Matt, you guys probably been to Maine. I'm less traveled. Were there any Japanese ass streets like the back alleys that you go to? Did you guys notice that?
I mean, when I go to Maine, we're going to like a campground.
You're not
you know what
going
I mean?
through
To, like,
back
then
alleys?
Maybe go to the beach. I mean, like I was, young going to
Oh,
Maine. I was
yeah.
young. I wasn't wandering around.
I guess
downtown alone.
what I mean, yeah, fair,
In a
probably
different
not.
state.
What I mean to say is that like remember that first back alley that you go like at the first place you go to like that where the
I
you
don't
go to
remember
find
a ton of the
Cheryl.
street names other than Kuntz and.
Oh no, it's fine. Just like and there's like it's like the back of houses and then there's just an alleyway and then there's
Yes.
like the fence on the end. That is the most Japanese shit like you could ever see. That's just a Japanese back alley. Like I've seen a lot of anime in my time.
Oh no, I hear what you're saying. Like where it's just
And I
kind
watched a lot of
it's a bunch
Japanese
of like
stuff.
garages kind of lined up in an
That is-
alleyway.
Yeah,
They're
I've
all
definitely
100
seen things like that in America, but
it is not,
not
That
right
was
up
straight
next
up-
to like
residential.
yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
was
normally
super
like
Japanese.
those would be
I
like
thought it was cool.
specifically storage containers and like you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, it reminded me of like how
you don't
Heavy
see that
Rain.
shit.
Heavy Rain. Check out our I played Tears and Heavy Rain. Has a lot of like that's an American.
Trailer park.
Yeah, when you walk into the
Yeah.
place and you're like, this doesn't exist. This, this doesn't.
Like I was going
Not even in
there's a-
Europe does this exist.
I
This
pulled
doesn't
over.
fucking-
I pulled over onto the wasteland next to the highway. What?
I grabbed the doorknob in the center of my door.
Yeah, just very normal. And I don't mean to punk on that. I think it's interesting because it's like I don't know. It's cool that it's
It's fun to see the
they made a unique world.
like either not like the cultural differences and then in some cases like this one like the cultural disconnect. You know what I mean?
It's hard to say too because the team did send a couple people over to America to actually get a grip on what it was like because they'd never seen it firsthand. They sent them to Chicago,
Yeah.
which is like not at all like Maine.
No.
No.
And it's like also Chicago. You don't go like, what's a classic American small town? Chicago.
Yeah, right.
And, apparently,
The windy city.
like one of them got mugged there, and,
Oh,
and
no.
Chicago's a dangerous
they're
place.
just like feeling all
More so
dejected
now,
and walking
but-
around
Yeah.
alone, which like the anxiety of that, not being able to speak, like it was two guys were supposed to go with a translator, and the guy, or English speaker representative from Konami, two Japanese team members. One of the members spoke English. Last minute, the English speaker couldn't go, and so you had these two people who couldn't communicate,
Oh no.
and he's just like walking around, Chicago by himself.
yeah.
Jesus.
God damn. That sucks.
So
I would
I'm
hate doing
wondering
that right
if
now.
like if
I
maybe
have.
he did see like a back alley like that in Chicago because I have seen things like that in big
There
cities.
could be,
and
I don't want to
certain,
say. Yeah, I don't want to say
Yeah,
it's
there's not, like,
drastically
especially, like,
different.
if you're
But
like-
you don't see it right behind houses like that. That's
No,
not,
it's usually like
Not
off
at all.
a highway exit or something like that. You know what I mean? Like when you get
Yeah.
into like the very industrial areas of bigger cities near like highway on and off ramps. You know what I mean?
Or even
Yeah.
parts in New
where you
York
see
City
that
I've seen
shit.
are
Yeah.
similar, where but it's not. You don't go,
It's not
my
a-
backyard. I have a chain link
Yeah.
fence, and then there's like a bunch of like fucking industrial garages, and,
communal
like,
garbage. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a weird. It's a weird thing.
But I'm wondering if that was something he saw something like that in
Oh, I'm
Chicago.
sure.
And was like, just I'll marry that to a small
Maine.
suburban neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he thought that was cool. I mean, it is. It works for it. You know what I mean? It works in the game.
It works for it. And hey, we are working to bring you a discussion on Silent Hill. So let's wrap up. Anything else about the graphics before we get into the plot?
No,
I
I mean, like I feel like I've said my piece.
got bad eyes. The game was kind of hard to see. Some items were hard to find.
It actually says one of the hint screens when I died was like, if you're having a hard time seeing things, just try turning up the brightness.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those games where it's like, this is the brightness you have to experience this at, or else you're cheating.
They're holding
you know
a
what
gun
I
at
mean?
you while you're setting the
I couldn't
ammo.
believe how the first time I was in the other world, how it was so much darker.
It was
than
dark
night
as fuck.
outside. I was like, oh wow, I was like, I thought it was mad dark before.
Yeah.
No, it's way darker.
It's blackness. I think I said triple darkness a couple times, like fucking RZA or whatever.
Triple darkness. It did
the
feel
darkness
like that.
triple balling.
Yeah, because there's one specific moment where like it's dark as fuck, and then you go outside, and he's like, "What? It's nighttime now." I was like, "What the fuck?"
Dark as shit in there.
Christ, it's just a black screen on my fucking.
Last
game.
thing I'll say, I have it in my notes for later, but I'll say it now.
All right.
The
Speak.
weather effects, incredible. I couldn't believe how good they looked. The fog, the snow, and then when you finish one of the boss fights, you go outside, there's a bunch of like sandy dirt on the ground, and there's rain hitting the sand. And I couldn't believe how good it looked, especially for a game from 1999.
You just reminded
Don't remember
me
it.
that, and I was doing something I was going to bring up later, maybe too, but I totally forgot about it. In the sewer, there's one scene where it goes top-down view for a moment as you're walking, and watching the water drip down
Yes.
onto the grates. It like hits the grate, and it does like this blue sparkle effect.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I totally
it
missed
was
that.
There's so much good
I, like,
stuff in the
stopped.
environment.
I was like,
I stopped several times throughout
I
the
was like,
game.
oh shit, which isn't something I do very often in like games, you know what I mean? But I was like, this is fucking. I was like, was this what Matt was talking about? And then I checked back and I was like, no, he was talking about the sand. And I was
Yeah,
like, this is
I mean, it's
gorgeous.
similar to like Max Payne 2. Where there's like moments in that game I remember specifically, like the apartments and shit, where just the
Yeah.
atmosphere was so strong.
Oh, yeah.
This game hit me in a very similar way many times.
Yeah, 100.
Just seeing little tricks with the graphics where it's like, damn, like that little bit of detail and extra
Because it's like
polish is
you're
going
seeing
a lot way.
because
A
in
lot
other
way.
parts of the game,
It did go a lot way.
And Lotway was also probably my favorite story in the game.
Okay, yeah.
you're seeing the
Express.
limitations of the graphics in a lot of other moments, especially as someone looking back on the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure at the time you wouldn't notice the graphical limitations as much, but now you
Right.
can be like, clearly this was stopping them, this was stopping them. But then you see the moments like that, and you go, that's just ingenuity. Like,
Yeah.
that's just like someone being really fucking good at what they're doing.
I think that's also all hand animation. That they're not like they didn't have like physics simulations.
Yeah,
at
that's
the
what I
end.
mean, yeah.
Like that's like somebody like drawing the drop
You
falling.
didn't put it into your fucking rain physics engine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just have it realistically react with a 3D generated environment that you did in 2 minutes in Blender. You know, it's like a big
I
deal.
don't know how they did it.
I don't know. I don't
Cool as
think
shit, though. Looked
they had Sims
gorgeous.
then. But yeah,
Some of it was dynamic as you moved around, you know?
yeah.
It's hard to say. Yeah. Did you also notice, just as a general theme, how much The Evil Within stole from this game as well? Directly?
Or like any of the places you go in Evil Within when it's evil, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It was really
Yeah.
funny that Evil Within was like a perfect marriage of RE4, which I mean, I've talked about on the channel before. So it's like basically the same game, but I didn't realize that like the other parts in so many ways are, and I know Silent Hill 2 as well, like the Keeper, Safe Head.
yeah.
It's very similar to Pyramid Head.
Oh, 100%.
I
I,
mean,
saw,
there's-
I saw the safe head and I was like, who's the developer of both of Shinji Mikami? Shinji Mikami. It could be that like Shinji Mikami wanted to make Resident Evil 4 more like Silent Hill. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
Evil Within
possibly.
seemed like his chance to make the survival horror game he wanted to.
You're saying that,
Not that Resident Evil 4 wasn't obviously fucking a masterpiece. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
it's just funny that the element that I thought was like a little more original of an idea in The Evil Within, all of it being psychic projections, the barbed wire looking thing, and the people and the shambling and all that, the psychological horror part, I didn't realize was like such a direct take on the themes of Silent Hill
Oh, yeah.
in a lot of ways, married to the themes of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
cool shit.
You know what? I think I'd like to change my clothes before we do the next part of the discussion.
can you change the lightness to like
I
a
just
little
want
bit?
to change the room a little bit. I'm not feeling great about how this first
I
part
don't
went.
like the way that I'm
I
looking
mean,
in this.
You
Yeah.
guys did fine. I'm just being hard on myself. So I'm going to change some stuff, and we'll come back in a minute, and we'll discuss the plot and our experiences actually playing through the game.
Yeah, I shit my pants and sweat through my shirt, so I gotta change.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
I shit my shirt, and I'm sweating through my pants, so I really need to go.
Why
It
don't
went
we-
up my back.
Maybe we can. That's disgusting.
Bye.
Why don't we change it
Andrew, I'm going to do my thing I said.
right now?
Or how about right now?
And then when I start, we can be like, whoa,
Wow, I feel a lot better after changing my clothes.
yeah, that's right.
Thank God I got to put on a pair of
Did you,
jeans.
did you just phase into the scene?
Yeah. Woo. I got here after you guys.
Whoa.
Whoa, I'm doing my TikTok transition.
Woo.
Just dropped in.
Andrew does those like fucking weird videos where he's like, "Get ready with me," and he's like in his underwear and
Outfit of the day.
he's putting his like fucking shirts on and his little,
Did a little dance.
He like
his
flips his
Vans.
shoes up in the air and they hit the ground and he's wearing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the video.
Throws up his
I
shirt.
hate that you do that.
That's-
It's
well,
one of-
it's getting us
It's probably my
views.
least favorite thing about you.
It's bringing in the eyeballs.
It's
why
not.
you guys don't
They
talk
each
off
get
camera.
like 22 views
Yeah.
at most, and I'm sure half of those are you on your alt account.
well, that's on TikTok.
Yeah.
They get a lot of eyes in other places.
I don't
Reddit?
know.
There's a couple subreddits.
Dedicated.
There's a couple specific places that it's really
On
doing.
the Andrew Taylor lol cow subreddit.
It's really working for us.
Well, anyway,
They're big in the Discord.
We've
Love
talked
the
about
Discord.
all of the gameplay, graphics, sound, and the general background of the development of this game. Obviously, skipping over large swaths of information. This isn't supposed to be comprehensive. It's just supposed to be
Our
Conversational.
experiences.
yes.
Shut up.
Fuck off. Matt told me he was going to kick my ass before I started.
Yeah, it was like, the tension is palpable in the
I've
room,
never felt more
everybody.
gaslit in my life.
Gaslit digital.
Hey, I enjoy many of their shows. The stupid racist hour, the fat misogynist half hour.
Tommy Bahama flip flop beach.
He's not.
Guy.
He's not on Gas Digital, is he?
I don't think so.
No, he's
What's,
indie.
what's Gas Digital?
Gas Digital
They'd,
it's Louis J. Gomez's podcast network.
Yeah.
It's where Tim Dillon got his start, and then he was like, "Well, see ya."
You don't want to be part of the Legion of Skanks anymore?
No, somehow he wanted to break away from that eventually.
Odd.
I want to be part of Are You Garbage? That's all I care about now.
All right.
It's the only show I
And
listen
I'm
to.
gonna say to the video right now, we're gonna cut so I can tell a story that doesn't have to do with anything that's relevant to you. Well, anyway, we just had a long conversation that won't appear on video, but now that we're all cooled down and worked up, part one, welcome to Silent Hill. That's what I have in my notes here, but I don't know if this is actually going to be part one of anything. I tried to break the story down into parts, and I was like, what part would this be? I don't fucking know where I'm going.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to once we started playing through Resident Evil together. We kind of started to realize that you just kind of do whatever the fuck you want in that game.
I mean, yeah, in a way, like, we can break Resident Evil down into... I'm not going to get into it, but basically there's map 1, map 2, return to map 1, map 3, map 4.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah.
But what you do in those maps could be all over the fucking place.
Yeah. You can do a lot with
Similar
one path.
with Silent Hill.
If you have like 5 paths, you can get like 75% in one path, 25% in the other path before you get stopped. So you can just do anything.
Yeah.
The game opens up with one of those long-ass montage scenes that was, like, honestly a bit too long for me.
Yeah, it was.
I was getting bored.
It felt like the opening scene for like Charmed or Angel. You know what I mean? Like one of those like early '90s or late '90s dramas, I guess.
Yeah,
early 2000s.
Late '90s, early 2000s. It was just kind of like, for me, this is a lot for characters that I have not been introduced to.
Yeah,
it would be. It's fine, like watching it in retrospect. I'm like, whoa, it's all these moments. It's cool. But like to start the game raw like that, I'm like, all right, wait, am I supposed to be following any of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really. You're kind of like, is this like giving me background or what's going on? Because there's no sound. There's sound, there's music, but there's no like speech. You know? What I mean? There's no
Incredible
dialogue.
animation though, especially for 1999.
That shit. We talked about that earlier. This shit looks so good.
It looks goofy the minute it switches back to like the polygons.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's probably a good example.
Yeah, it goes from like 100 to like 21.
Yeah, it may be one of the strongest example of like the CG is like, oh my god, like the largest like difference between those two things.
100%.
I do think after, and I've said this for other games that we played, after we played the Remedy games, and how, because they do that, they give you a shot right in the beginning of like the entire story. Like if you watch the intro to Control, after beating it, you're like, oh my god. Like that intro showed the entire story. I just didn't know at the time.
Right.
So now that I'm like acclimated to that, I try to grip right in. I try to pay attention. I remember names. I remember locations. I try to just glue onto it because I think that's fun. And then you're like, and then how does this all tie in? So I tried to do that with this as well.
Very hard to do so because all you get
Pretty
is
tough.
a series of unrelated scenes with
Almost
no context.
Non sequitur, like.
Yeah. So it's like later in time, you're like, wait. And here's the other part that's difficult. The models in the CGI animations do not match the models in games. You
No,
can't
they're
be
a little
like,
different.
oh, that's the same exact character. It's like sometimes you're like, wait, is it?
It's hard to. There are certain moments that are kind of hard to determine who.
It's
it
like
is
when-
that-
But
When
again,
you- when you-
I mean, still, strong opening.
When you go to your inventory and you see like the icon of Harry, you're like, that's what he looks like?
Yeah.
You're like, that guy's cool. But his character model is just a couple like rectangular prisms.
Yeah, he looks like Solid Snake.
Where's my daughter?
So,
Have you seen my daughter?
Where's my goddamn daughter?
I'm going to,
You
for the
motherfuckers.
sake of the show, I'm going to read my notes here,
Okay.
and you guys can chime in.
I'll read mine too if you want. Do you want to read yours?
I
too?
don't have any notes.
You didn't take any notes for the whole video. Okay.
Well,
I
so
usually don't.
once you
you
actually start,
you can change mine a little bit.
once you actually start the game, an unnamed man is running through a foggy, desolate city. If you run backward, you'll find a wrecked car, and you'll see that the roads into the town have been blocked. And they're actually blocked off. They're not the,
Abyss.
yeah, not yet.
They're not the wasteland yet.
Yeah, jeez, the wasteland. Just pull
So
over.
this was very strange. So I ran back out to where I was, and then up and to the left, I found a store. I went into it, or I tried to go into it. It's the convenience store.
I never went there.
Oh, well, you get some great items in there.
I ended up going
Shit.
later.
So I went in there at first, and then suddenly I went footsteps, and I got a cutscene, and like my character like fucking like out of the store and was like just running up the street, and I was like, okay, well I definitely triggered something because I went somewhere I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, Cheryl? And so I'm running toward this little girl, and I followed her as she slipped deeper into the fog. And then I chased Cheryl down the alley, which is where the game picks up. But like,
What?
I think you're
You don't-
supposed to
you don't-
just go right down the street and start heading toward
you don't
her.
have to do
Yeah.
that.
I didn't.
You don't have to do anything.
I didn't stray
Whoa.
off at all. I went right at her.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
same here.
I'm gonna start exploring, and I went to the like.
You said, "Fuck her."
I didn't see her at first.
How? There's like a cutscene where it's like, "Daddy," or
Yeah,
whatever
the
she
cutscene I
says.
just said I triggered.
He didn't trigger it right away. Clearly.
I went to a store first, and
Really?
when I tried to enter a new
thought-
location, then it triggered the cutscene.
I thought the game began with that, and then she's like
No, the
running
game
away
began
into the fog.
with the long animation we just talked about.
I
and then
thought it
you're
was-
just there.
Wow. Okay.
then-
I thought then it went into like an in-game cutscene.
It does if you take like 15 steps forward.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
instead, I went left.
Because it's supposed to be kind of you figuring out how to walk. Period. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You'd think I'd play. I started the game twice. You'd think I'd remember, but whatever. Fuck me.
I think I also started the game twice, and I said, uh-oh, gotta go easy mode. 'cause
Yeah, this
I'm
is-
not handling this very
You
well.
guys
Yes,
both
that's
fucking suck. Because I played through
precisely-
the whole goddamn thing normal.
We got
We'll-
very
we will
different
We'll get to how that bit you in the bottom later.
in the took us.
So, as you chase Cheryl down the alley, the city becomes darker and the camera angles become more strange. There's a trail of like blood and entrails on the ground. And
you're like,
eventually,
"What is this?"
You know, yeah, what? What the? That's actually more like Resident Evil. Like the first Resident, like in the PlayStation version,
Version
in the play for any of you PlayStation virgins
out there.
unlike us Xbox Chads.
Chads,
No,
PC gods.
they do. They go, what the? And I think Harry does do like one or two of those, but they
He
do
definitely
a lot
has
in
some-
the first Resident Evil.
Yeah. Barry, look out! It's a monster. Let me take care of this.
So I passed a couple of chain link fences, and I saw a bloodied body under a sheet on a gurney, on a hospital bed or a gurney. It's a which, in retrospect, it's like, of course, when the moment there's like a psychic shift in the environment, I'm seeing something that's tying me to the hospital because that's the source of these visions.
yes.
I didn't make that connection until way later when I was
You
reviewing my
just-
notes. I was
you
like,
just
oh,
said it and it clicked for me.
they're
No,
foreshadowing
no
the
clue.
hospital from like the first. It's like
I just
things are
thought-
fucked up, and the hospital's part of it.
Maybe because of Indu. Maybe
Maybe
partly.
because of
Because of andouille sausage.
You know
You
what I
guys
said
don't-
the other night? I said, did you tie a Boy Scout knot? Except I said a Boy Scout knot.
Boy Scout now.
And then I tried to say it correctly. And I said Boy Scout knot like 4 more times before I could get it out right.
Last night I said Papa's about to make a bunch of chicken. Just like I said it to the cat as a joke. That's what I meant to say. But instead I said Kool-Aid. And
Papa's about to make some Kool-Aid.
and I just said it and I went, that's not.
Kool-Aid's about to make a bunch of chicken.
I was like,
You're like, huh?
I don't know what happened to me.
No,
Yeah.
but, you had an experience here at the chain link fence with the hospital bed.
Yeah, I played the game. No, I guess maybe like partly.
You can stay.
All right, thank God. I just watched a Let's Play. I didn't actually
Just
play it.
watched the internet histories.
God, let's get back on track here. God damn it. Maybe in part due to this game's cultural impact, like I just accepted it as spooky debris and setting.
Yeah, because
like hospital, scary.
I had seen the movie beforehand. You know what I mean? Like I watched the movie as a youngster, and like that's just kind of the imagery in it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I think a lot of the movie takes place in the hospital also. So I was just like, oh, there's a body on a hospital bed. Again, that's
That's
spooky,
just like
that's
spooky,
creepy.
setting. Yeah.
Didn't.
And you
fucking
also
click.
see like a wheelchair early on too.
And he's like, huh? It's not the. He says something way better later. But
I hope that's in my notes, but if it isn't, I want to say it right now. He goes, a wheelchair in an elementary school?
that's like weird.
It's like, yeah, I went to school with a kid in a wheelchair.
Yeah, Pelswick.
But it's like as though,
Yeah,
as, though,
Hornswoggle.
as though a kid
I didn't make that up.
as though a kid couldn't be handicapped. You know what I mean? Like,
It's like, they don't let kids like that go to school.
right.
Not
It's
this
a
kind of
very
school.
weird fucking thing
Very
to
weird
say.
comment.
I put that
But
on
then-
the translators.
Yeah,
I would
for
go,
sure, yeah.
I would go like,
I'm sure
like,
it was
who
more
left
like,
this wheelchair here?
I hate to-
Yeah.
or something.
who left this wheelchair in an elementary school? A wheelchair alone in an elementary school? Or
Or-
an abandoned wheelchair in an elementary school?
Or-
That's weird.
The seat still smells of child bum.
Bum. I hate to keep bringing up Willy Bum Bum. I hate to keep bringing up Resident Evil, but like in Resident Evil,
Willy
when you
Bum Bum?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
that's an old animation. Don't look it up. It's gross. It's something we used to text like a video, like when we first had flip phones. It's disgusting. It's just piss and fart and poop.
That's what our channel's all about, baby.
That's our mainstay. I hate to keep bringing up Resident Evil, but in Resident Evil, the first one, when you, well, I guess the remake, the PC port of the remake.
Oh my God, get to
when
it.
you try to use an item, when you try to use an item at a time that you don't need to, it says it's not necessary to use that item right now. And it's just like I guess that's polite, but you're also kind of condescending. You're like, okay, buddy, it's not necessary that you do that right now. It's like when a kid is screaming.
It's now is as good of a time as any to say that Resident Evil has boring ass flavor text on everything that you go up to.
I thought Silent
but-
Hill did as well.
Well, what I want to say is, at least it's like a description of what you're seeing. Like you're like there's a shelf that's covered in dust. I can see like
Yeah.
maggots writhing in some of these jars.
Yeah, there was like, I kept walking up to different pictures, and like every picture, though, the reaction was like, wow, creepy pictures up on the wall. It's almost as if they're staring at you.
Which
You know
game
what I
is
mean?
this?
Resident Evil.
I thought it was fairly detailed.
Yeah, there's other there's
There's
different
like
descriptions.
one or two other things that they say. Like, I mean, like you walk up to them and they're like, "Oh, this must have been the."
Because they're like,
There was
oh,
one-
it's a picture of a woman being menaced.
Menaced. Yes, I'm so fucking happy you saw that one. I thought that was hilarious.
Seen that one, yeah.
It literally, I think that might have been verbatim.
I think it is, but it's something
It was
like that.
the phrase "woman being menaced"
Or
was
like woman being tormented or something.
No,
like
it was
that.
menaced.
I think it was menaced.
Dennis the Menace.
But anyway, in Silent Hill, it's just like nothing
This is
useful.
useless.
Yeah.
This isn't useful.
Let's
to look at.
let's
Nothing
like
useful here.
like put a little
just be like, there's a shelf full of medicine bottles. I don't see anything of use.
yeah.
But like,
everything is like useless garbage, useless.
Nothing useful.
And let's like
Nothing
highlight
here.
that for a minute because that is going to influence some shit I'm going to say later. So much of the, like you said, the tooltips or flavor text is just like useless items. Your cat's standing on your priceless comic
I
comic
don't care about
connection,
that. I can still read them.
even covered in shit and claw marks.
Yes. Do you want to go on?
Piss stains, barf, hairballs.
You forgot what you were saying, didn't you?
No, that was it. I want to highlight that like it says that stuff is useless for like
Oh.
everything you
I
find.
thought you were gonna make a point. 'Cause
No, I
you
said
basically
let's
just-
highlight that now because I'm going to refer to
I
it
did
later.
just highlight that. That's what we just did.
I was accentuating that we were highlighting it.
Oh, and now we're done.
It's over now because we're going to come back to it
so
later.
we've highlighted it.
It's been highlighted. Put a glow. Put an outer
Vinny,
glow.
come on, get off the table.
You fucker!
The Sluggo ran away.
Because he heard the squirt bottle.
He's been scarred.
So anyway, as I continued after Cheryl, I saw the body on the gurney, which was foreshadowing.
Inevitably, I didn't fucking realize.
You said what the?
Huh?
And this is a game too, and not, I feel like I keep making pit stops, but I'm trying to get this out of the way now. This was Capcom. This was Konami's response to Capcom doing the Resident Evil games. Resident Evil is a game that you're supposed to play at least twice, if not many more times, because you only get half the story with Jill,
Right.
half the story with Chris. It's a and the idea of survival horror games in the classic mode, of Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, bullshit like this.
Yeah.
Silent Hill.
Other
The
shit.
idea is that you can, if you're good, you can get through them in like 2.5, 3 hours. There's
you
supposed
know-
to be games you can
if you know all
blaze
the
through.
shit.
Yeah.
And there's also
Which-
like randomizer mode. There's challenge modes. There's
okay.
like use only the knife. Use you know what I mean?
Right.
Don't engage. There's all sorts of challenges and shit. There's the tofu mode and Resident
Tofu
Evil.
mode. I was gonna say tofu mode.
But because of that, there isn't like a A and B story in Silent Hill. But in Silent Hill, if you were to play it twice, it's purposely constructed in such a way that get out of here, bug. It's purposely constructed in such a way that every time you play, you'll catch another thing that you missed before that is like informing a greater understanding of the story.
Yeah.
Which I think is really neat, like this hospital bed. Anyway,
Shut up.
Guess I'll just fucking shut up.
So you go a little bit further, and things keep getting scarier.
Yeah, you see a decimated body crucified against a chain link fence.
It's just sick, cool stuff.
And Harry says, "What?"
Yeah, his reaction to like one of the most horrific things, like it went from like daylight to pitch black night. There's blood everywhere, and then I see a body literally crucified. And I'm like,
Cheryl?
what is this?
I also love like when it gets dark. At first, he's like, "Oh, it's getting dark. That's weird." Just pulls out his lighter. Like it is never. I've been out as it like switches to dusk in the night. It's not like a quick thing that happens. Like
not
you're
within-
not like it's suddenly dark outside.
like, oh,
Depends on the gravity level.
It is dark now.
It can pull the sun down faster.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes the gravity button
Yeah.
switch gets left on too hard in fuck mode.
But suddenly, I got ambushed by like these vague, like knife-wielding humanoids.
Yeah, they look like a little.
They're crawling in their skin.
There's like they're little like dolls from like a Seether music video or something. You know what I mean?
I think you mean like a Tool music video.
Tool music video.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Tool
These
music
ones I
video.
thought were little crawlers. They didn't have no legs, Lieutenant Dan, and they
Are
just
they?
were like crawling. Yeah, I thought
I think
so.
they're the gray children from the school.
I thought
I didn't think they were the same.
I thought they were the little guys with the knives.
I thought the gray children from the school were the guys with the knives.
Yeah, I
From
don't
the
know.
courtyard?
Those were the same enemies. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I thought
yes,
these
but
ones
that's
you
a-
faced in the beginning were different. I could be
I'm
remembering.
saying I thought they were
wrong.
the same.
I
You
like
know what?
ran away.
Let's
for a
refer to
while.
the footage.
We'll check it now, and one of us is right, or none of us are.
Haha. I'm gonna.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. You dumb
Like, just
idiot.
like I said.
Anyways, but no, I survived this moment for a while because I just kept running away.
I did the second time.
Like
Oh.
I just ran in circles. I didn't realize it was like
Oh.
it's a
It's a
scripted,
scripted death.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. I kept running away. Like one of them got me, and I was like, no.
I felt so bad when I died. I was like, I got killed by the first enemy?
yeah.
Like I'm an idiot.
Which
you
happened
go-
to me in Resident Evil.
Did you? I want to know about that. Did you go all the way back to where the started?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I tried to run all the way back, like through
What
the things.
happened?
There's well, do you want
It's blocked off by a gate. Like you can't get back. You try
Oh.
to like return through the alleyway, and you hit a gate, and you're like, oh no, a gate. Where am I
Yeah.
supposed to go? So I went back, and I was like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
Is
you're-
this game already too cryptic for me?
Yeah.
And then I died, and I had that same thought where I was like, I'm not a real gamer.
Well, that's why
like
I
a
said in
fake
my
gamer.
notes here. I run, but one gets me and I die.
I run, but I can't hide.
Except I didn't really die. I wake up in a diner. There's a...
Which, I'm just gonna say it now because I don't know. It's been in my head. I started the new game, like the new Fear or whatever mode, to play through my second time. This is where the game starts. Mm-hmm. Like you
Oh, you
just
just
skip
wake
the
up
total
and
opening. You
okay.
just wake up.
in
Yeah,
the
why?
diner.
I guess
In the
why
diner.
waste that time? Yeah, let's go right into it.
It's also kind of nice, this like meta thing where like he wakes up in the diner again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just a cycle?
That's
Exactly.
kind of cool.
It's less cool the more you think about it, because you're like, well, wait a minute. How does it really work? If you really deconstruct it, but it is pretty cool.
And I also hate that theory that like all of the games are just in Harry's head after the car crash. Like none of it's
I
real.
hate that. Yeah,
Like
that,
it's all just a fucking.
that theory is in everything.
Yeah, it's there for Rugrats. That sounded like she stepped on a squeaky toy.
In the first episode, you can see Tommy Pickles accidentally trip on a rock. He actually died in that moment. He has amnesia because
Well,
he died.
the writers confirmed that all the babies are dead.
in Rugrats,
Rugrats.
even in All Grown Up.
That's not canon.
Oh, grown up isn't canon.
That's not. I gotta edit some.
I need to edit my Rugrats wiki.
I gotta edit some wikis after
I
this.
had to edit my Rugrats Wicca.
Wicca.
I need to go buy some more candles because I'm practicing Wicca.
Getting a lot of
You have a Tommy Pickles. What's it called? A votive
sonic
candle?
screwdriver.
With the
What?
same
Oh,
candles.
votive?
Like saying like a votive candle. Yeah. Like,
He's got a ripped. It's his head, but like a giant ripped muscular Chad body.
and he's got Jesus on the Jesus on the cross body, and he's fucking.
It's Reptar on the cross. So there's a female police officer there who we introduced earlier in our conversation as police officer.
Sybil Bennett.
I just remembered Sybil. I just kept going. It's Sybil Shepherd's here again.
There she is. The Silver Surfer's here.
I think she's like Irish in the movie.
Yeah.
Cause like I didn't notice it, and then like
Oh,
like
fucking
3
A.
or 4 scenes into the movie, I hear her like talk more, and she has like a heavy accent. And I was like,
Like the actresses or like the character where it was?
Both, I would imagine. Maybe.
I guess it's impossible for me to say, but I'm speaking about the character.
Okay.
Hard for me to say if it was the actress.
Oh, fucking A,
Maybe
Harry.
she like was hiding her accent at first, and then was like, "I'm not gonna hide it anymore." They're like, "That's fine.
There's fucking
We're not filming
monsters.
it again."
It's like, I messed up the line. Is it okay? And they're just like, it doesn't fucking. We're making the movie.
It's Silent Hill. All right, it's not Postal the movie, the
doesn't-
greatest video game movie ever made,
That's right.
which we need to all watch together sometime after we've played a little Postal.
I'd be down.
It's
I've never played Postal.
you get to see.
I'm afraid it's going to inspire me to do things that I don't want to do,
Oh, it's got great male
or
full frontal nudity.
or justify me in doing those things. I'm not really sure.
No, it's got everything you like. So,
Piss.
we converse for a little
Full
bit, and
frontal male
I
nudity.
I identify myself as a tourist. I say I'm here on vacation.
this
I don't
was-
know what happened, but I need to find my daughter. Her name is Cheryl.
Have you seen
Young
her?
girl, short,
Yeah,
7,
he kept-
Dark hair.
dark hair,
Have you seen a little girl with dark hair?
looks about 7.
I'm looking for a man named Landy. I'm looking for sailors. I don't know if you guys played Shenmue, but this is very
Oh,
similar
yeah.
to me.
I'm looking for sailors.
Do you know anyone who speaks Chinese?
Do you know a forklift?
Do you know forklift? I see you have a very peripheral understanding of Shenmue.
Do you know
Do you know
fighting?
duck races?
Little kid?
So, she says she's Sybil Bennett from Brams, which is the next
I thought
town
it
over.
was Brahms.
Could be either one, but she's from the next town over. She's not from Silent Hill.
Yeah.
She's a cop from
The phones and radio are dead, so she's going back over to the town to call in reinforcements because everything's fucking weird. I tell Sybil I need to find my daughter.
Have you seen my daughter?
Sybil doesn't want me to go out, but I insist, and she gives me a gun to protect myself. Which this is cool. I think more cops should give guns to civilians.
strangers?
I think if you
So
walk
not
up to
strangers, civilians.
if you walk
Oh,
up to
yeah,
a
sorry.
cop,
It's not a stranger. He said, "My name's Harry Mason. I'm a
he's
tourist."
aware of his
she said,
identity.
"I'm Sybil Bennett. I'm a cop."
Here's a gun.
They know each other.
Her
I
gun.
wouldn't say. I'm not.
I don't think she had a.
cops go up to someone and go, "Here's a gun."
No,
At least introduce yourself
you go, hello,
first.
I'm Jordan Hill. I'm new to the area. I'm feeling a little bit scared.
Hi,
Could I
I'm
please
Officer.
have your gun?
I'm Officer Excessive. Let me give you a gun.
Thank you so much, officer. I feel so much safer now.
I'm a criminal in the shadow. My name is Upton O'Good. I'm gonna pursue my goals.
Citizens arrest. Bang, 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 bang.
Oh no.
No, I did a video about that. You're doing it wrong.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm up to no good.
I stole that. That's a Matt original I stole.
That's from a joke book I had as a child. Fake names.
Well, you could have taken credit for it right there. No one would have known. So like
Icy wiener.
yeah, literally. So this is like Amanda Hug
To
and Kiss.
gaze upon a wiener?
Oh, I think is it up there? I know this is Silent Hill. It's a video game. It's a story. It's a fake thing. But I Sybil might not even be real. I don't know the meta of this game, but like, she's not
Actually, it was
acting.
made before Meta.
The Facebook thing, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that old. She never acts like a police officer. Yeah, she gives her the gun, but I'm like, that is never. Like, and then like there's a later scene where there's a dangerous thing that Harry wants to go do, and she's like, she's like, I should go. I'm a police officer, and he's like, no, I'm gonna go, and she's like, okay, well, I'll just stand here, I guess.
There's no logic in this game, which I really attribute to everyone is fucked up.
Yeah. So that it does have that.
Where it's like you see the stuff Harry's going
So I can't
through
be
where he's,
really
like,
mad.
Blacking out, you know what I mean? Which is like a trope
Yeah.
I like low-key kind of hate.
That's kind of rough too, because it's like we're somewhere else now.
It's kind of like, I know it's due to content, but it's the worst part of Heavy Rain.
Yeah, but it's also
What's
like
that? Blacking out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's like how do you
Ethan
like
blacked out. Oh no, is he a killer?
Yeah.
Well, we'll never explain that. I'm sorry, go on.
no they never get into it at all. But basically, it's like you don't know. Like you can assume at least based on how you interact with the other people that they're experiencing the same things. You find half of the characters passed out, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, and shit like that. So it's like,
Yeah, even Lisa Garland, the nurse you meet later, is like, I woke up and everything was like this.
yeah. You find Kaufman fucking face down.
No, you don't.
No.
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 He blasts you.
Yeah, he almost shoots
yeah.
you.
He almost shoots you.
He does shoot you, but then he missed, I guess.
It didn't make sense to me. You
'Cause
said
it's like-
don't shoot,
and then
he
he's like-
shoots, and I was like,
Then you're like-
I'm pretty sure he just fucking shot me. And then
like
I
it's
guess he
90.
didn't.
Like in reality,
We'll get into it.
really looks like he shot you.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you're right.
No, let's talk about it
everyone's
now.
being weird.
Yeah,
but
everybody's
I
being
do attribute that to everyone in the town is fucked up.
Yeah.
And we learn more and more about why they might be. So after searching the diner for some items, I get health drinks, a flashlight, a knife, and a map. and I learned that the map is the most useful thing.
Oh fuck yeah.
Health
dude.
drinks are probably second most useful. Flashlight's actually probably the first most useful next to map.
Yeah, goddamn,
Yeah.
dude. This is a dark game.
All good items, except for the knife, which I never use because it's a total piece of shit.
Completely useless.
yeah,
I tried
it's
it
fucking-
on
I
the first
didn't-
enemy.
The pipe is
nothing
better.
doing.
You get the
pipe
lead
is better
pipe.
than the knife.
The pipe also more DPS than the fucking the small axe you pick up later.
No kidding. Does the
Found that
pipe
out.
break?
No,
No.
there's no
Like the
weapon
tooltip
damage.
said that like. I remember it said like when you pick it up, it said something like. I thought it said something that it would break if you used it too much. Maybe I'm crazy.
I remember it saying something along the lines of like it must be useful for something. You know what I mean? Like it
Okay,
must have,
maybe
you
I'm
know,
wrong.
It's good for smashing roaches. I'll tell you
We'll
that.
check the
Yeah.
footage, and
I was right. All right. I was wrong. Oh no.
so I head out, but the radio begins to go off.
Well, because you go to check the radio and you're like, radio's dead.
I'm sorry.
Can't do anything.
And-
Well, I didn't even know. I didn't check the radio.
You didn't check the radio? Oh.
I go to walk out, and I'm like, huh? There's a radio going off. Mm-hmm. So it triggers either way.
What?
Right.
So as I walk toward the radio to check it, because it's like,
Yeah, it's making a sound. It sounds like a fire alarm, like an old school fire alarm a little bit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I
I
Like
thought it
the-
sounded like the hotline from Control.
Kinda. It
like
sounds
that
like-
mixes in there.
or
That's
like an
mixed
old
in there.
phone because it just sounds like a hammer ringing off a bell. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that's- yeah.
That's all it is, like an old school fire alarm or an old
And
school
there's
phone.
So it
It's
sounds
a-
like a bell of some sort, is what you're both saying.
I guess, yeah. But really fast.
But like no, like a telephone.
Like an old school telephone that has a bell inside of it?
Mm-hmm.
Just the telephone part.
Oh, not the ringing.
No, it's the very different tones.
Alexander Graham.
It also has like a static. It does static as well. It's like a layered.
Oh, like a telephone.
Hello?
Sorry. Hello? Hello?
I don't get
Remember
that.
those days?
I don't get what were we doing?
You used to have to
Hello?
hold your phone up
Oh,
sometimes
to
try to
get
get better service.
reception? That's right.
I
I had a little antenna.
I'm doing that. A fucking winged beast comes through the window.
A goddamn skinless mini pterodactyl
yeah,
blast
it's like
through.
a goddamn
Oh,
human
check-
pterodactyl hybrid fucking flies through the goddamn window.
They did foreshadow this. Did you see it?
No.
Did you see it?
You see it flying outside of the
I didn't
outside
see
of
it.
the
Right
diner.
after you
Don't say you
save.
see it. You saw it. I didn't see it.
When you save the game and you turn, like it forces the camera to like be looking at your face, and in the background you see it swoop by through the diner windows. And I'm like, I saw that. Like I
Diner
saw it the
windows.
first time. I was like, I'm gonna be fucked up right now.
Right, you can. I guess I didn't mention, but you can also save in this room, and you save via notepads. And fuck you, Resident Evil. You can save as many times as you'd like.
Literally,
Because
whenever
it's
you
kind
want
of
to.
it's kind of interesting. He says like, if I survive this, or like he's like, if I don't survive this, I want somebody to know what happened here. That's kind of cool. That's
Yeah,
cooler than an ink ribbon.
I like it. I like in games that are basically like using the save mechanic as a. Do you want to document your progress?
That's kind of cool. It's diagenic.
It's diegenic.
Dianetics Jr.
Is that the word?
Diegesis. Man, I listened with
don't-
Eve to the drive-through sketch off the first Tenacious D album,
so good.
which I didn't
yeah,
realize
it rocks.
that take forever, which I say a lot,
Yeah.
and fuck my ass, which I say a lot.
Yeah.
I believe I got them both from that sketch.
Wow, no
listening to
kidding.
that when I was I must have been like 11 years old.
Yeah,
when that
Put
movie came
two
out.
of them up your ass and
That's
give
one of the
me
funniest
4.
fucking things I've.
Dude, I listened to that.
I mean, when did it come out? It came out in 1999.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was.
I
I
think the
didn't.
same year as Silent Hill, possibly. If not, it was
Yeah.
like 2001.
Yeah, it was very early. It was late '90s, early 2000s.
And
But I was
Right on the
I was
cusp.
no older than 13, and that I hadn't listened to it much since it came out.
It's great. It holds up.
It holds up, but those
then-
two phrases lodge
Watching my
so deep in my
figure.
brain.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you know,
Play
I say fuck my ass quite a bit.
Yeah, and fuck my ass.
I'd make the joke. I'm watching my figure.
Oh yeah, all the time.
I'll take a small. I'm
and
watching my
I love that during
Junior.
Junior bacon
a
cheese.
small
Anyway,
seasoned curlies.
What
No,
are
I,
you
I,
saying?
I like that. Kyle, I'm still talking about the bit. I'm sorry.
Hmm?
Kyle Gass he becomes the order taker.
Yeah, it's very
Anybody? It sounds like fucking Primus.
it's very
hilarious.
good. It does kind of. It's very good gibberish because he's using a lot of
No.
like he's using like it's mostly words but not quite.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Nick Rochefort talk about like assassinating a CEO? He's like in the podcast. It's hilarious. He goes, "You have at an 8. See, leave for at 9 a.m."
That's how we'd have to say it if we talked about it on this show. We can't talk about that stuff.
On the D's most recent album, Rise of the Phoenix, they have another one. They have a couple of skits on it, and I think they're like maybe not equally as funny, but I think they're very funny as well. Like I think Jack has to get like a guitar teacher because he wants to be the best, and he's just like this weird like guy who like tries to touch Jack's cock, but it's Kyle Gass the entire time. It's very funny. No, I'm sorry, it's the other way. Kyle Gass is the
student?
being the student. Yeah, it's very funny.
Well, I'll have to give it a listen.
I'd recommend it.
So I shoot this winged beast,
I
which
blasted
I
it right
never
out of the
really
sky.
understood what it was.
It looks like a pterodactyl.
It looks like a pterodactyl. To be honest, though, I'm gonna.
I'm surprised
Can
that
I
was
be
a.
frank with you guys?
to be honest, to be frank.
You can be Matt. You can be Frank.
run over
Whoever you want to be.
tank.
I'll accept you. Did you die?
I'm too young to have actually seen a pterodactyl. I've never seen one in
What?
person. I'm pretty sure they were extinct by the time I was even born.
The only pterodactyl I ever saw was real dinosaurs.
Oh, see, I know Terry from Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Oh, there you go. When they're walking around.
Pee Wee.
Jesus Christ, that was too good. When the fucking pterodactyls like land on the ground and they're walking around, they look like the fucking real monsters pterodactyl. Because he was just
There's a real monsters
no,
pterodactyl.
not all real monsters. Sorry, real dinosaurs.
Oh,
Do you guys remember that show? I think
Yeah.
it was
I
called
remember
Real
dinosaurs.
I think it was called Real
No.
Dinosaurs, and it was like Street
you're talking about
Sharks.
the comedy.
Yeah.
He's talking about like a '90s edgy cartoon.
Yeah, it was like Street
in the
Sharks,
style
but they
of
were
late era TMNT.
That sounds awesome. I don't think
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
was
that.
fucking so into it.
That sounds really
had
cool.
to
I'm
watch
not sure if it's
Right now.
called Real Dinosaurs.
I don't know
think
if it was called that.
I know what you're talking about. Though.
I can't remember what it was called.
They're
but-
basically like armored up. It's Biker Mice from Mars, Street Sharks, whatever this dinosaur show is.
Yeah.
Oh, were they fighting shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called
It was by,
Dino Riders, right?
No.
No,
It was
those
by
are people
Deke
riding
Animation.
dinosaurs.
I always used to love that because
Dick.
DIC was the animation
Deke.
company.
Yeah.
Deke.
Deke. I had a book of this. It's called like it has like a perfect name.
I can't remember. I thought it was
Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
There you go.
So
Post Malone's newest album.
I shoot the fuck out of that thing.
Do you guys stomp it? Do you guys?
I
No,
was
so
a stomping
I was playing
fan.
the game for like 2 days, and you go, "Oh yeah, if you ever hear the static still going or the radio signal still going, because the radio, as we said, signifies there's enemies nearby.
I don't
You've
think
already
we
killed
said
the
that,
enemy.
but
What?
I don't think
did.
we specified.
We
it.
did.
I don't remember
We
saying
did
that.
earlier, before we changed our clothes.
Oh, that's
Oh.
right. We did do that earlier before we got.
We
changed.
talked all about like how the radio works.
before we all showered together and got changed.
Yeah, we're looking good now.
No, I mean we are at the Y.
It's a communal shower.
love what they've
multiple
done with the
shower
place.
heads.
Yeah. No.
You didn't
so
know about the stomping?
Well, you told me in the group chat.
I was like, do you guys realize that like when the static keeps going, if you just walk over and stomp the fucking
And you stop
Yeah.
enemies like so forcefully, like I'm killing it.
Yeah.
It is brutal.
It's
or
like
there's
the
sometimes
stomp-
like I love when it's the we'll get to it. We've talked about it already, but when you get to the dogs for the first time, you fucking just like walk up and you fucking just like kick the dog.
Right,
It's
you
like,
don't stomp the dog. You do kick it as
when
if
it's
you're, as
when
if
it's
you're,
downed, or
like,
can
I-
you do it when it's charging?
Not when
it's
it's
down.
charging, but
Oh,
like
okay,
if you're
yeah, 'cause it
kicked a dog in real
dashes.
life, it
Yeah.
does look just like that.
And it makes that same sound.
Hey.
There's a guy who's kicked a dog before.
Hey, two brothers here.
Hey, I'm not advocating animal abuse.
What?
I'm not advocating animal abuse.
And Matt's fucking hammered.
Look, I've had 10 of these. And I've had 10 more before the shoot is
Those are
through.
9%ers, dude. Jesus.
Hey, I'm a 9%er.
Juice Force good though.
Juice
very
Force
good.
good.
Juice Force good though.
The stomping is like it reminds me of. I know it came way before, but the Dead Space. Do you ever stomping in Dead
Yeah,
Space?
yeah, yeah. Very
He
similar.
fucking made
I would not doubt that this was a direct inspiration for that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can't think of other games, 3D, games like this earlier where you stomp a down
No.
enemy like that.
and because it's very gross. Like
It's brutal.
I noticed
and,
that you
and
could
the
do it.
bugs too. When you stomp them, they like squish. And,
Yeah, I noticed that you could do it
with
because
a lead pipe.
Oh, satisfying.
So fucking.
I didn't
satisfying.
realize until after that the radio keeps going. But when they're downed, they have like a little bit of an idle animation still.
Right,
do
but
a
I
little
couldn't
bit.
tell if that was texture warping, like from the PS1, or if
It was hard.
an idle animation.
Yeah, so I went up
And
to
once
it.
I saw later on some enemies, I saw their actual appendages moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
they
it
do
was
have
clear.
a little bit of a yeah.
It wasn't clear on the pterodactyls or the dogs.
No.
Yeah.
For me, at first.
Oh no, not really.
Got a couple dogs for you.
Well, anyway, those dogs are barking. I mean to say your feet smell horrible.
You know that traditional dog bark noise.
So, and I've been trying to say this for 30 minutes.
What?
I shoot the fuck out of that thing, and I go,
God, we're still in the diner.
"This is not a dream,"
Yeah, he does.
Did he say that?
because he wasn't sure. Because he woke up, he was like, "Wait, was that a dream or is this a dream?" And I remember distinctly a number of years ago, I had a dream where I woke up, and I was in this strange realm, and I like went up to this woman, and she was like, "Oh, you're here. You get what's going on?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "Well, when you fall asleep in that world, you wake up in this world, and vice versa." I was like, "Oh, I'm just finding out about it now." And she was like, "Well, like most people don't like come here, and you know, it's usually like a little more casual. You know what I mean? Like it's very ephemeral. You know, but you've tapped into a deeper connection here, so it's like you seem to be understanding how it works. So
That-
at least you know, I was like, oh. Yeah, I get how it works. Okay, cool. Good to know.
And then a dog came up to you and you fucking kicked the shit out of
Then
it.
you woke up and you had blew a load in your pants.
Oh!
I fucking kicked a dog through a window like I was Hudson Hawk.
You were watching AVGN.
But I watched that movie like a month ago, and it was so fucking good. Have you seen it? Mm-hmm. I know he just covered it
I've
because
not
I saw
seen-
this. I know my hairline's not great, but his is.
It's getting kinda square.
None of us have like incredible hairlines.
Now,
let's
why do
be
you think I'm
honest.
wearing the hat? Come on, let's be
But-
real.
I think he's really doing something not right.
It's kind of like a
Mine's really
straight.
far back. Yeah, I was like,
it
I got a
it
big
is-
forehead.
Yeah,
it
like
is,
James
but
got a straight line.
You might even have as much forehead as he has right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's still you're doing something with it that he's not doing.
Well,
I don't know if have you seen the picture?
It looks like his hair's like starting from back here. And
yeah.
It's like he's like an action
Just
figure. You
give
push
it
the
up,
hair
man.
back.
It's
What
like
is he
when-
fucking doing? He looks insane.
You know how like some guys get the
Sam
like.
Hyde right now, where Sam Hyde's head's just getting rounder.
Yeah.
Like his forehead's just getting more like a light bulb with every passing day. As
It didn't help that he just got punched in the head a bunch of times.
Oh my god,
It's like how
we're getting nowhere with this.
I know.
We
You know-
will. We
You know,
will.
you know how some people get some guys get the really like
Some guys get all the girls and
they
like,
get all the
you just
girls.
hate them.
Yeah, and it's only because of their hairlines. No, they get like fades and
Why
more
do
like
girls only like assholes?
Look at fades.
that's the point of that's the point of this entire show. Like especially like I don't know, it's a very like popular thing with black guys to get like a very like angular kind of cut in the front. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
you
that
get it
you have
shaped
to-
up.
Yeah.
You have to shape up your hairline. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm glad you guys knew a term because I'm sure there is one. I'm just not as I don't know anything about anything. But like you ever see when they're fucked up and like they like
Yes.
have to like push it back way too far?
I
and it's like starts at his ears and it's just a straight line.
Bad
Really
barber
funny.
compilations.
Yeah,
It's a really
Yes.
funny lane on like Instagram and TikTok.
where like it's
stuff.
fucked
Yes.
up like
It's just
barber.
people getting horrible haircuts and
It's-
stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's just and then the
kids are
And there's
crying.
often guys who think they're good at it, and they're like taking like the barber is taking the video that everyone's
yeah,
posting.
and it's like, dude,
and like you
look
see the
like
guy just sitting there
trash.
like,
yeah, he's mad as
his
hell.
hairline fucking
even in,
here.
even
Yeah.
in videos where it's a good haircut, the guys are still like.
Yeah, they
Just
like
look
never.
at
They
them
always
mean
try to show
mugging.
no emotion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's no emotion. Sometimes it's like they're showing grimacing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know why. Every video, can't you just be happy you got a nice haircut?
Yeah.
You piece of shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Be grateful. This guy's giving you a really nice haircut.
Trying to look cool.
we had
Gratitude.
barber
Don't look
shops
cool.
around
You
here.
look like you're pissy. That
You make the
you're
same
like,
face in all your Antoine Levy stuff.
my haircut hurt. No, this is the face I make.
Yeah, you're right. that is the face you make.
That's my
What's up, baby?
check my flavor saver.
Ugh, Jesus.
That's a fucking.
So I decide that I'm gonna make my way back to the alley where I last saw Cheryl.
Because
I go-
That's like what he tells you to do. Yeah. Like it cuts to the map and it's like.
yeah.
I decided that on my
highlights
own,
it, yeah.
on my own volition.
Yeah, you have
It was
your own
actually Harry that wrote that on the map. So
I am
now
Harry.
there's two skinless dogs guarding the area.
Mm-hmm.
I run past them. They leap at me. They bite at me. I go.
Yeah. Oh no no
I
no.
go.
Fuck.
No, No. You cannot touch the mango. You cannot.
You cannot have a mango.
I can't even do it.
You
This is
cannot have a
terrible.
mango.
I'm sneezing. This
That's
sucks.
fucking-
This fucking sucks.
I tried to show
Classic
my girlfriend
Chris
a mango sketch. There's one terrible mango
Yeah.
sketch on YouTube. Like shitty quality and one of the worst ones. Like one of the very
is
late
mango?
era ones.
There's got to be like a best of Chris Kattan, like
right.
SNL. You know
yeah,
what I
that
mean?
you can fucking buy or watch on Hulu or something. I was trying to look up there's not like a SNL clips channel on
There's
YouTube.
not. That doesn't exist.
It's
What?
bonkers.
They have their own channel, and they upload.
But I think they don't post a lot of. They don't post very much old stuff. It's
Oh.
mostly stuff from like when the channel was created on. Like there's not a lot of.
Like that's when I was watching SNL every week was during that era. I was like,
Oh, fucking
I was like,
same.
it's a funny character. It's actually a shitty character, and like, by all accounts, I think Chris Kattan is kind of a creeper.
Who's the character that he played where he was just like an ape man?
I like
and he
that
just
one.
ate the
That's
fucking apple really
what
quick,
I- Monkey
real
Boy or
messy.
something.
Yeah.
That's what I know him as.
That's what I remember that and Mango were
Yeah.
like the two.
because he has like
I
that
hated
funny
that.
way
It
of
was so
like,
gross.
yeah, it was disgusting.
It was like watching a squirrel eat a chicken wing.
but he like managed to like, it's like he with every bite he'd like throw 50 pieces.
Right.
out.
I,
Well,
hate
'cause
it. I
all
don't
he's
like
doing
messy eaters.
Yeah,
He's just like exhaling the whole time he's eating, so he's just fucking
Yeah.
biting and spraying.
Well, I would show a clip of that here, but you can't fucking get any. The one clip that was on YouTube was the one that like it was him and like I think The Rock.
Oh,
It was like also playing like another mango.
and that's
And
fucking.
it was I don't know. It wasn't good.
Corny.
you
Any-
better hide that big ass forehead.
Is that a rock line?
Yeah,
Oh. Here's my favorite rock line.
it's about
It
drive.
doesn't
It's
matter
about
what my
power.
favorite rock line is. All right, no. Oh God, please. And shut up.
Somebody literally throwing a bag of glass bottles.
If they hear us, they're gonna see
So
me.
I
I'm
make
trying
my
not
way
to.
as far back into the alley as I can, and I find a 3-foot long lead
cock.
pipe.
Oh,
And I go, a lead pipe, good. And I start gnawing on it. And I know my way out.
All your-
lead poisoning.
If I wasn't crazy already.
that'll do it, baby.
I also find a page from Scarol's. I was
Scarrow.
gonna say Scarol's checkbook.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I've been doing this a lot lately. Where I-
23.75 at a Wegmans.
I keep switching the syllables in words.
You're becoming your true self. You're becoming stronger.
I'm becoming demented.
Much now. I've been doing that recently
It's
too.
all
though, I've
catching up
noticed.
with
Like
you,
I told
man.
you last night I replaced word chicken with Kool-Aid. And
That's not
I
the
don't
same
have
thing.
Kool-Aid in my mouth.
That's because
in
you
my
really
house.
wanted
You-
Kool-Aid. You're
You
depriving
just want
yourself.
Kool-Aid.
Inevitably, because I just said I don't have Kool-Aid in my mouth instead of in my house.
What if it just starts pouring out? Ah, Kool-Aid! It's the blue
the
Kool-Aid.
powder.
Black magic. So Cheryl's sketchbook page says, do you guys remember this? It's like a classic line from Silent Hill.
To
Go
school.
to school. Is it go to school or to school?
I thought it was to school. Ding ding
It
ding
is,
ding
it's
ding
just
ding
to
ding
school.
ding ding.
It's to school.
Oh, okay.
She's 7
Yeah.
canonically.
I could write better than that when I was 7.
In my fan fiction, she's a little bit older
Jesus fucking.
because of some other things.
Stuff.
It's based in Japan, so she's not that much older.
It's really, but like,
just old enough, really.
but like, anyway,
it's a cartoon. It doesn't matter.
it is right.
This is a healthy outlet. Oh no, I'm being swatted. Rightfully so.
It's justified.
So I headed toward the school because it said to school.
Hold on, there was a fucking other thing there.
What was the other thing?
This fucked me up for so long because I picked up lead pipe. I was like, hell yeah, lead pipe. And then
A 3-foot long lead pipe.
3 foot long. It's huge.
That's a big ass pipe.
That'd be hard to wield as a weapon. But then,
Not as hard as you think, man. I got a pipe over there. You can try it later. You'll see. It's gonna fit you like a fucking glove.
okay, that sounds cool. I can't wait. I'm
You'll
wearing
love
gloves.
that pipe. You'll love the way that pipe
I'll wear
goes in your
my
hands.
my Slipknot fingerless gloves that I got from Hot Topic in middle school.
Hell yeah.
Next to the to school is her sketchbook. The actual you can pick up the sketchbook and it's 3
You
items.
find her actual sketchbook, yeah.
Yeah, but you can only look at the cover and it's or like whatever page it's on. And Harry says like that's a picture. That's like Scarol's sketchbook.
Yeah, he's
That's
like,
a that's a picture
she drew.
picture she drew of me. And then I was like, okay, that's because I didn't realize there'd be more because like visually it doesn't really look like it.
Oh, so you're right. So
Then I
there's
fucking
the
left.
sketchbook and the loose pages.
Yes.
You only
So
look at
there's
the book, not
there's-
loose pages.
There's 3 items total. Yeah.
So there is a thing in this game where there's, I would say, I can think of 2 or 3 instances where the items. We talked about this in the group chat, but I think many shots are composed in such a way where the focal point is the thing you're supposed to look at. Like at one point, there's like the empty plastic bottles.
Yes.
And it's like, bing. It's like focal point, dead, like
Yeah.
foreground.
I think
There'd be no other reason for you to interact with that, really.
And I'd be like,
Yeah.
I was like, that looks like a thing. I became to understand over time a man who knows the visual language of the game. I started to get it.
You became
But
that
there's
man.
like,
It's
there's
very-
several instances where it's like pretty fucking poorly
Dude, there were
executed.
some
it's
times that it's
very,
like-
very subtle.
Especially
very
with
subtle.
how-
Sometimes.
It's usually, a lot of the time, it's just that, like, the items are, like, a color that pops a little bit more than the rest of the
But
scenery.
I'd say like this, putting the pages. I think there was like a page you couldn't even touch because it looked like
Yeah.
it's a sketchbook with the pages ripped out.
There's like
Yeah.
three things on there. There's like the
Yeah.
sketchbook and 2 pages.
and you can only pick up one of the pages.
Yeah.
So it is. I could see how you'd fuck that up.
Sometimes
'Cause
like it'll be like, and it's different because we're playing an emulation on a digital screen where we're not playing on CRTs, which there's blooming, there's tons of shit. So like it maybe wasn't as difficult to see on the original thing, you know.
hard
so
to say. It's very hard to say. I tried to look at certain scenes through CRT shaders and stuff. Still a couple times in the game where I go,
visually this one's
but-
kind of rough, man.
but-
it's
but-
cool, but it's kind of rough.
But
But
I did read some stuff talking to one of the main, you know, the I think the director of the game, one of the main designers, and he was talking about like Tower of Druaga and games where, especially old Japanese games, where there was a lot of cryptic bullshit.
Yeah.
Like on NES games, where I'm even like
Castlevania?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
we have to
Like,
squat in
how would you
Castlevania
know-
2.
He was like, I want to make a game that does that sometimes. So we could complain about this, but
That's what he set out to do.
it was a staple of video game design for like a good 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see someone who grew up being like, damn, that challenged me. I want to challenge someone else and passing it on.
Yeah.
But when you don't grow up playing those sorts of games, it's hard to have an affection for that kind of game design because it is
feels
punishing.
it feels
brutal.
Yeah, there was a
frustrating.
moment later where it was literally like I died 3 times and then finally just like through literal like trial and error figured out what to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times in this game. This is another thing that I said
I
to
know
us.
what you mean.
Where I was just like, I was thinking about a puzzle, and I'm like, there's no way. It's like, I'd like ignore one of the things I thought of because I'm like, there's no way it's that one. I'm like, that's stupid as fuck. And then I'd eventually try that, and I'm like, God damn it, that was the right one. Fuck me.
Well, anyway.
So we're
So
1
there-
foot outside of the beginning of the game.
No, we've gone through the alleyway. We found our notes. We
We're
got
10
the
steps
lead
away.
pipe.
Right, we're about 8 minutes into the game.
All right.
So I headed toward the school, but I realized I was going the wrong way because what I was doing was I looked at my map, and I said, "Gotta go to the school." And I saw a big red X, and so I go toward it, and I go, "Oh, wait a minute, that X means dead end."
Yeah, that means you
I-
can't access this
I didn't
area.
realize
Yeah.
that
Oh,
And this
okay.
is we've
at first. 'Cause this is my first time I actually noticed it.
yeah.
Right.
So that was a dead end, one of the closed roads I encountered at the beginning of the game, where I first went to my wrecked car and I looked at the roads. And I was like, "Oh, roads are blocked." So I checked my wrecked car again. There was items inside the car this time.
Yep, in the trunk,
There
there's some
wasn't the
items.
first time. I checked
Oh,
it.
okay. Because
My-
well, you also checked it like
I didn't
before you were
realize
supposed
that
to
was-
do anything.
I didn't realize that
Right,
was.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I ever went to the
Yeah,
back
when
to
you
my
check it
car.
first, you just get some flavor text
Oh, okay.
that I'll put up here.
I went to a police. There's a police officer's car later that I found some shit in, but I never
Yeah,
went back to.
that's also-
I never went back to.
That's also true. So I decided to check out the store that I tried to enter earlier, where I got that weird cutscene.
Convenience store. Mhm.
So I go in. There's another winged beast outside of the front door. I enter the store. More health drinks and a first aid kit.
You were all stocked up, dude.
Also, you can find in here
A notepad to save.
and the sounding stone.
I couldn't find the sounding stone.
I never found. I
It's
didn't know
sitting
that.
right next to the notepad on the counter,
What
but at
the
a weird
fuck?
angle. So you have like it's like an L counter, right? Because I found it on my New Fear playthrough, because I want to get the alien ending in my New Fear playthrough. But I went in there and it's just sitting there. It's like an L, and
that-
the notepad's right here, and it's like right here.
New Fear. That's that Pantera EP that you like, right?
It sounds just like Walk. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's I'm Broken.
Yeah.
Really great songs.
Yeah.
Big
You know,
Pantera fans here.
Huge.
I went through recently. I listened to the first 3 Pantera records. They had like a glam metal phase.
Yeah.
before.
What the fuck? That was weird, right?
Very odd. I listened to the early phase and the first 3 records of their new school phase.
I like the groove.
There's some of the groove stuff that's good, but it's just also like it's kind of terrible. It's kind of all fucking terrible.
I've never
Yeah.
been into it.
I can't get into
I
Devil's
really
Advocate.
try.
never-
I want
yeah.
to
They're so
understand the appeal, but I think it's just like I think you need to be someone who like is like I don't want to fix my problems.
It's very much
that
like,
seems like the
why don't women like me? Like it's very much
Like you think it's
that.
really cool
Fuck
that
you,
Dimebag Darrell
Dad.
got shot on stage. Like you don't think it's tragic. You
Yeah.
think it's super cool. What a way to
I
go
don't know
out,
about
man.
that. I don't know.
What a
about
way to
that.
go out.
You're getting spicy
That
there.
mindset. I know.
Why do
I'm
some
just being
people get
shitty.
mad when I
I've,
talk
like-
about
I've
things I
never
don't
put
like?
that amount of effort into trying to get into them, but like I
Yeah.
have tried and I can't.
Yeah, anytime there's a band I hate, I listen to their albums. I try to listen to like 2 or 3 of their records and go, do I really hate this or I just not understand it?
Yeah.
And if I listen to it and I still don't like it, I go, well, you know, I don't like. And then like 5 or 6 years later, I'll try again.
Oh, there you go. Bigger man than I.
Well, I just have a lot of free time.
That's fair too.
So I went back outside of the store. The winged beast reappeared, and I was going, do all enemies respawn? And my notes wrote, I hope not.
Thank God I messaged the group chat.
Yeah. And they do randomly respawn, but
not
generally they won't, especially on lower difficulty.
It's really only outside that they respawn. As far as like you
Right,
going
but-
back into a room or
Yeah,
something,
that's a
they
good
don't
point.
respawn.
Right,
don't
but
really.
if I go into the store, that enemy that I just killed is not going to respawn immediately.
No.
There will be more
Enemies.
I wouldn't even say they respawn. I would just say I think on the outdoor map they spawn in.
Yeah, at
randomly.
random.
It feels like
If the enemies did respawn super frequently, especially in like indoors where like I'm constantly just like critically thinking and like going back and forth between rooms a ton, I'd be so frustrated.
Because sometimes it was nice to like make the decision. If I know I have to come back to this hallway 7 times, so I'm just going to kill these 3 enemies,
Yeah.
so that I don't
Get
have
it
to run
over
from
with,
them every
yeah.
time.
So I tried to make my way to the school because I was like, that's where I need to go. I
your-
need to go to the school because the thing said to school.
With your gun.
Yeah, I need to go to the school with my gun. So
Shadow Band.
I found a lot of dead ends.
Yes.
Which
supposed
were
to.
marked every time I hit one. They marked as a big red X on the map, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is great.
Gotta
Love
give
this map.
major props to the map.
Great map.
We already talked about
one
it,
of the,
but yeah.
one of the best game maps I've ever used. Better than the map in Control.
Oh yeah.
So I found a few more pieces.
Sorry, Control.
Yeah, Control's the better game. but
Yes.
The map's not the better map.
the Control map is the worst part of that game in terms of the mechanics and design.
I got used to it, but
I wouldn't even say I got used to it. I think I was frustrated with it up until I stopped playing
the
with
better
it.
end.
Because there were times
Maybe
where
I
I go,
just- I
how do
also-
I get to this one fucking place?
I also might have just played it so much that I just kind of internalized it and I knew where shit was.
Yes, I did do that. But anytime I tried to look at the map, I did, And also, there's no way to track collectibles. Come on. So I found a few more pieces of paper that were similar to Cheryl's sketchpad, and one of them directed me toward a doghouse on Levin Street.
Doggy.
Big dog.
So I went there. Fucking,
It's just the big dog T-shirt like logo on it. And you're like, I gotta look for the dog.
I,
Did you blap that dog?
I shot both the dogs. There's two
went,
dogs.
I went.
I went meow 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 meow, and I found
pussied it?
a key taped inside of the doghouse,
And you're like, well, what?
and so what you're supposed to do is take that key. It's
There
the
is?
house key, I think.
Yes.
You're supposed to go into the house that's right there.
Just
That's
right
right.
in front of you.
And what I did was, cool, I got a key. Well, my notes say go to school, so I'm gonna keep going toward the school.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
You blew it.
Sort of. So, did you guys both, when you got the key, did you go in the house?
I went right in the house. Yeah.
Yes.
Andrew doesn't remember.
That's your lying face.
I'm
it in
telling
your
the
notes?
truth about what I did.
Did you look it up? Okay.
I got really lost here. I didn't. I
did too.
really tried not to look stuff up.
This was really the only part of the game where like
I got
I
really
wasn't
lost
struggling.
here.
Like the beginning of the game, I was blazing.
I was shocked
through.
how much progress you were making.
Like
and
up into the I got in my first playthrough, which was maybe 2 hours. I got all the way through like the first half of the school,
shocking to me.
and it was like I was just blazing through it to me. I don't know if my intuition's all there, you know what I mean, or if it was just like
Yeah.
I've been playing another like Majora's Mask is one of the most like cryptic fucking puzzle games at times, you know what I mean? And I think I've been playing that so much that I was like, oh, I'm in puzzle game mode.
I think it took me a while to adjust.
Because even
for
Resident
sure.
Evil, like I'm not having trouble with the puzzles. I was just like, where the fuck is the place to store shit?
Yeah.
And I found
The
like,
map in Resident Evil is fucking frustrating in the mansion. just because
Like
It-
the actual
it's- it-
map or the
just the layout of it is frustrating.
Yes.
Where and the map is frustrating as well because nothing's marked in the map. Where in other Resident Evil games, they'll mark like the name of the puzzle or a name of a key thing, and in this one they don't. But either
It's
way,
just like typewriter.
Yeah,
or
you only
item
get
box.
typewriter. There's a couple times where it highlights a specific room, but yeah, usually not.
Well, yeah, there are if you have a timed challenge and shit. But anyway, so we'll detour real quick and we'll pick back up. So I was like, oh, go to school. So I kept looking for the school. Apparently that was the wrong choice. I went all over the map.
Yeah.
I went to every fucking thing. It was like
You went to
there's-
all the roads that wouldn't lead there.
I messaged the group chat because I was like, well, I have it in my notes here. So I went all over the map. I found 3 keys, but I couldn't find an open path to the school.
This was amazing to me.
And I had to ask for a hint, and eventually I discovered that I had to go back to that house on Levin Street. And so the key in the doghouse opened the house at that address.
Yes.
But I considered that as an option.
yeah.
But here's the 2 reasons why I didn't go through with it. One, the game told me, go to the school. So I was
did.
going toward the school. Secondly, the note that said, there's a doghouse on Levin Street, or like doghouse Levin Street. It said
Yeah.
something very cryptic
You
like
find that in one of the broken roads.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
one
it's
of
not
those
always,
crosses.
See, in my case, I think the reason why I didn't wander more is because that was the last broken road I had found. At that point, I had
So you
exhausted.
explored more
I had
prior.
exhausted all of the other
was the
routes to
second
the
one
school.
for me.
So I found that, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So that kind of told me this must somehow get me to the school, like this key. So I was just like, "Let me." You can see on the map there's like an alleyway behind the house. You know what I mean?
Right, which it took me a little while to understand how alleyways worked on the map.
Yeah.
that's
And once
fair.
I did, I was like, oh, sweet. But
Because
anyway,
the map has some detail
it does.
that doesn't, but like that doesn't matter to the game. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but
Like
there
it'll
is-
like it looks like a real ass map, so it's
It was like
kind
Queen
of.
Burger's there, but you can't go into Queen
It takes you a
Burger.
second to realize what's actually in the game.
But here's the thing. That note that said Doghouse Levin Street, or whatever it said, it didn't stay in my inventory. You just pick it up and look
No,
at it.
you
yeah.
do not.
But
keep
the
it.
map that said, the piece of paper that says to school, that does stay in your inventory.
Yeah.
Yes.
With
So
with
why?
this game, I kept whipping out the old
know what I
handy
mean?
dandy phone. I kept taking pictures of my. You know, you can take a screenshot.
I have a fair amount of notes. There's
I
me
have- I
trying
have
to
a lot
solve
of
a puzzle.
handwritten notes.
Yeah, there's
Yeah?
me
I
trying
kept
to solve
taking
a puzzle
pictures
where
with
there's
my
just
phone.
like 300 random characters written down.
I didn't have my iPad with me, or I was probably like not thinking to use it.
There's a lot of
'Cause
puzzles
I normally
that
do like playing like Wasteland shit. I would screen capture all the time. Be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, gotta remember that later.
there's a lot of puzzles that'll have like there's like a riddle that you have to solve, and I just
Right.
took a picture of the riddle so I wouldn't have to keep swiping back to
So
it.
I had to like I did have to look this up. I had to go, what street had the doghouse? Because I was just walking
Right.
all over, and it's in the fog, and it's like there's multiple doghouses. So I looked up, I saw Doghouse 11th Street. I didn't look at anything further on the tutorial.
Right.
And I was like, cool, go to
That's
11th Street.
essentially what I did.
Went there. That's where I tried. Anytime I look stuff up, I try to go, can I just like glimpse at the hint? Okay,
Right.
cool, done.
Because
I
there's
don't
so
wanna
much,
spoil it.
there's so much shit where it's where a lot of like FAQs or walkthroughs will just information dump that is so much spoilering. You know what I mean? So it's weird. You have to like try to, like you said, like
Look for keywords.
and just be like only absorb that and nothing else around it.
So once I finally got there,
This is amazing. It's amazing that you did that. It's amazing that you found
I go
3
into
keys.
the house. There's a scarecrow key, a lion key, and I think a Tin Man key or something. Or it's not.
I don't think it's the. I don't think it's
the
the Wizard of Oz.
There was
Yeah,
a
it is.
It is. Oh.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, okay.
There's
Lion
the key
scare-
of lion, key of scarecrow, and key of heart.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
lion
idiot!
was
I
in
didn't
for a
realize
heart.
that.
God, I
yeah,
didn't fucking.
You guys are idiots.
I know. I just said it.
I don't know.
You're just telling me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You ever seen The Wizard of Oz?
I've seen the
I
Jizzard
don't think
of
I'm old
Oz.
enough. No, I'm kidding. I've seen fucking.
Did you see the scene where the dwarves hung themselves?
I saw it. It's in the
not
background.
real.
It's fucked up. Yeah, it is. I
But
saw
if you play Dark Side of the Moon, no. So
top 5 scary moments in old movies.
number one.
Number 1. The
Here's the other person who does that video. Top 5 scary moments in movies. Number 1.
God. Why are all the narrators on big channels like that so bad?
I also like there's some where it's like clearly like it's English as a second language because he's like top 5. You know what I mean?
And it's
like,
really hard to
scary
understand.
moments in old movies.
I like this
old
one
movie.
too. Top 5 scary moments in movies. Number 1.
Oh, it's just to fucking talk to fucking.
Sounds so unnatural, man.
Texas.
It's
Speech.
text to speech.
Sorry.
So anyway, when you go in, there's 3 locks. There's a lock of Scarecrow, a lock of Heart, and a lock of
Leon.
What?
Lion.
No, not it was.
Yeah, Lion, Heart, and
Scarecrow.
It's Lion, Heart, and Scarecrow. Then it's not Heart. It's because there's the Tin Man, the Scarecrow.
Tin Man needs his heart.
Tin Man needs a heart. Scarecrow needs a brain.
Lion needs courage.
Lion needs courage. Is it a key of courage? What's the 3 keys?
I don't know what the third key
Oh,
is.
I'm sorry. No. So wait, there's key of heart. Tin Man needs a heart?
Tin Man needs a
I
heart.
thought Tin Man needed a brain.
Scarecrow needs a brain. If I only had a brain.
what's a Tin Man
MC
need?
9000 featuring Jesus.
So it is.
Tin Man needs a heart.
Tin Man needs a heart.
Uh-huh.
Key of Lion. Lion
Needs
needs
courage.
courage. Key of Scarecrow.
Scarecrow needs a brain.
Scarecrow needs. There was no key of brain,
No.
but the key of the game is getting some brain.
You're just trying to get brain the whole time, baby. Where's my daughter?
No. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what getting brain in that context. I don't understand what you. How do
Is
you
he getting brain like Krang?
Oh, I understand now. It's like Krang.
Like Krang. Getting brain like
You turtles are keeping me from being pleasured orally.
It looks just like the rest of me.
His cock.
I
Yes.
understood.
You think these are my arms? All right.
Anyway.
So
They're my
you go
cocks.
in, there's the 3 keys.
Homer?
There's 3 locks, and I go, oh. I would have gone in here and had to have done what I did anyway.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just go, chunk,
This was
chunk,
that's why I
unlocked
keep. I've said it
everything.
twice. That's amazing that you got all the keys
Well, because
first.
the thing is, if you go in and you find that, what you do is you go in and you see the locks.
There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
note on the wall.
No, on the wall, and it's a map with like marks on it. You're like, oh,
The
I should mark it
locations.
down too, and it tells
Yeah.
you where the fucking keys are,
yeah.
or
Right.
like the general area
Which,
of them.
it general area, it's not like marked, it's like a big circle.
Yeah, it's like it's in this alleyway.
But
it's over
it
here.
is the kind of thing that, this is one of my complaints with these older games, is that there is a lot of, go here, now go back, now go here, now go back. It's happening a lot in Resident Evil 1, which we're playing at the same time this month.
Lots of backtracking.
And it happens a lot in Silent Hill, at least in the first part. Not so much as the game progresses.
Yeah.
No, as the game progresses, it's really like go through this area, finish it, go back.
a lot more
Until you,
linear.
until you
I
get
would
to the
only
last
go
area.
back.
Well, the last area uses assets, but it's not
Yeah,
the same map.
But I would only go back if I
meant,
needed
like-
to save. If I was like, I have to go back to
Oh,
where I know
okay.
a notepad is.
The last area you do retread a lot.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
there is
I
a
wish
lot.
I had like one of those like videos of like my path because it was
Right.
just like how many times.
like a family circus strip.
Jesus
or like
Christ.
like a Benny Hill scene.
Or like when a
Just
yeah,
him
like when
going
a
through
bumblebee is floating in a comic or whatever, and it's the
Mason's
lines.
just like chasing a horny nurse.
God, he's trying to bust.
That's what Benny Hill's all about.
doors. She comes to kill him, and then
So
he's like,
lucky for
busts
me,
out his
I had
hard
3
cock.
keys. So I exit through the back door. Suddenly, it's dark as hell.
He says, yeah, he's like, it's getting dark out.
It's not. It's dark out. It's not getting dark out, Harry.
Yeah,
it is dark
now
out.
suddenly.
In my notes, the game is markedly scarier when it's dark, and we talked about this already too, but it's dark outside, and then when you go later in the game, it gets darker than outside, which I think is really strong. Like visually being like,
Yeah.
this is blacker than night.
This is-
this is
internal-
like here's human darkness.
Yeah.
Here is a like nature's darkness. Here's a darkness that is unnaturally
Because
dark.
it was almost like that unnatural darkness was almost like you were watching the game render as you entered. You know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
was just literally nothingness. It just like a small area that you were like, oh,
it's
here,
there's moments where it's like, God damn, I cannot see.
and
I'm gonna
even
be
though there
honest-
was like sometimes nothing there, it was still effectively
Yeah.
tense.
First half of this game, I was just blasting fools. You have so much ammo at the beginning of this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
I
me
was
too.
blasting like everybody I was coming across.
I was blasting almost everybody, but then as soon as I got some of the long range, heavier weapons, I was like, melee feels pretty good.
I did too, but for a different
I used the
reason.
pistol like the entire game.
So,
Whipped out the shotgun when I needed to.
so as I exited the house, got dark. I made my way south toward the school. I was dodging and shooting winged beasts the whole time. I popped 2 dogs on the front steps of the school,
Love
and I
killing
went
dogs.
in. The school was as dark indoors as it was outdoors.
Yeah.
I headed straight out to the courtyard and I found evidence of a key puzzle.
Oh yeah.
And I said, "Oh, there's a clock tower. Let's check that shit." Oh,
Yeah.
there's two holes with like shapes.
I know, it's so obvious. It was like that's a classic
indentations.
Resident Evil,
Yeah.
you know, what I mean,
Yeah.
puzzle where it's just like, here's two empty slots.
Well, even
what
like
could go in here, and you're like, well, they're big fucking squares. I'll probably find two big fucking squares later.
Yeah, you get the map, and like instantly I'm looking at the map, and I'm like, where should I go first? And then and all the rooms were labeled like room A, like teacher room, like infirmary, and then it was clock tower. I was like, we gotta go to the clock tower. I'm like, it's obviously the clock tower.
I was really meticulous with playing through this, which might have been why I had like, I don't know, why I got through this beginning part a little bit faster, because it was like, I walked into that entrance and immediately I was like, I'm checking out reception and infirmary. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
It should've
if I
done that.
walked into an
That's where a lot
area
of
and
the
there was
shit is.
rooms in there, I didn't leave that area until I had exhausted like every
I did
thing
like
I could do
like a
in that area.
clockwise loop.
Oh, okay. That's like, I ended up just like, I'd enter an area.
You kind of have to go to
three
every
rooms.
room.
You do. You inevitably throughout the school have to go through literally, I think, every single fucking door.
Yeah.
But I would like made a point to just like every time I entered an area, make sure there's nothing I'm missing in here. Because I was so worried it was going to be, you know what I mean? Like,
Important.
if I miss one small detail.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
be
enjoyed
fucked in
that
an hour.
aspect of it. I enjoyed
Yeah,
exploring
it's not a complaint
the
at
maps
all.
completely.
Yeah.
Like none of the maps are so large that it felt like a chore to explore.
Nope.
And
Oh.
it was nice to be like, cool. I checked that one off, and you see the complete. It does the same completion color thing as Resident Evil.
Yeah. And they kind of fuck with you later with that a little bit, because they pull like a control where it's like room shifting, kind of.
Oh yeah.
But like, it is very satisfying to be like, okay, I know there's nothing else in there. I'm done in there. I can go and leave. Or I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I went
It's
to
like there's a certain sort of satisfaction to the process of elimination that this game does really well. Where
Yeah.
you can literally see your progress, and you're like, I'm getting closer to solving this puzzle.
Another thing I do want to highlight is that when you open that, when you get the key from the doghouse and it's to the house directly behind it, that does make sense logically. That's how it would probably work in real life. But
you tape your spare key, you know what I mean, in
Yeah.
the doghouse out
I
front.
That
have
makes
mine
sense.
inside of a fake rock.
yeah, that works too.
And then I just take that rock and I throw it through my window so I can unlock the door from inside.
Matt lives in an apartment complex, so there's just this really big, fake-looking rock in front of his door.
In the hallway.
Yeah.
It says home
But it's-
sweet home on it.
But there's like
says- It says Flintstones the movie.
but it is like
It's from Wendy's.
a lot of other items. Most items in the game are
There's a
not.
promotion when the Flintstones movie came
Yeah,
out.
you had to get 5 Baconators.
Anyway,
and you
go
got
on.
you got a coupon every time. You trade them in. Most items in the game are not used directly next to it. Like you don't just like,
Yeah, it
oh,
always varies.
here's the key to the locked door right next to me. That almost never happens.
It's very
Just another-
seldom.
It's another thing to highlight. There.
It's very seldom that you find something and it's like, use it right now.
So yeah,
But sometimes it is. You're like, oh shit.
And this is one of
I
those-
go when that happens. I go, you tricking me?
exactly, yeah. Felt like a trick. You didn't know.
And I like that. A game that I'm going to be streaming this month, if I haven't started already, depending on what happens in the future. We're shooting this in the past.
If you survive,
It's Eternal Darkness, which does a lot to fuck with your perception of the game. You're going, is this game fucking with me? And a lot of times it is.
You fucking with me? You fucking with me, slow
Did you just
down?
grab my ass?
Touch me. Say your hand. Just come on my face.
I headed to the courtyard, and as I saw there was the key puzzle, I'm like, all right, cool. I guess I'll have to find these things to stick in these holes to make the elevator to the clock tower go,
Yeah, like, okay.
or something.
They were
That
weird
makes,
little.
That makes sense.
I don't really know what
This
they
was
were.
kind of this was one of those, it was just an impossible thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You're like,
I was like,
yeah.
okay.
okay, cool. Did Scott Shelby
Was he around here? Is Jigsaw around the corner
So,
watching through a webcam?
I was attacked by a small childlike humanoid wielding a knife. And I said, oh, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
I
creepy.
shot it once and ran. So back into the school I go. I was seeking a silver moon or some shit. This is in my notes. I found a reception desk with 3 notes written in blood. These notes allude to the clock tower. So I went further and investigated. And there was like, at 2 o'clock this happens. At 5 o'clock this happens.
Okay.
And I think, and I wasn't fucking around when I said this,
Matt's whipping out his notes, his notebook.
I bought
his
this
journal.
notebook at Ollie's.
Oh, bargain outlet.
Good stuff, cheap!
That place fucking rocks.
It does. 10 o'clock alchemy lab. Gold in an old man's palm. The future is hidden in his fist. Exchange for sage's water. 12 o'clock. A place with songs and sound. A silver guidepost is untapped in lost tongues. Awakening at the ordained order. 5 o'clock. Darkness that brings the choking heat. Flames render the silence, awakening the hungry beast. Open time's door to beckon prey.
You know what the fucking thing is?
What?
You're reading those right now, and I'm just now realizing that all of those are descriptions of how to solve the puzzles
Yeah.
And in
throughout
order.
in the school.
Yeah.
And right, and I remember Andrew said if you find a gold medallion, use it before you go ahead. But when you use the gold medallion, it changes the clock to 12 o'clock, which opens the piano in the music room.
Yeah.
And it's saying like 12 o'clock, and it's like 12 o'clock on the clock. It's relating, the alchemy lab is the
Chemistry room.
chemistry room. There's the music room, and then the darkness that brings choking heat is a reference to the boiler room with the
the
boss.
door of time or whatever is obviously the clock tower. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Which you have to
But
go through the door of time.
I'm really
just like-
frustrated
Yeah,
that like
there's
I
a
literally,
temporal
I
bullshit.
literally just came to that conclusion right now as you read
Yeah?
that. I went through and just solved all these puzzles like
Just
intuitively.
figured them out?
I mean, the piano one is pretty intuitive.
Okay, well, I
The
should say I knew that related to the rooms and the puzzle, but I didn't know exactly what it
piano one
meant.
took me a fucking minute.
Yeah, well, so
sorry,
let's
we'll
go
get
bit by bit here. Also, here they mentioned 3 teachers. I think T. Moore, K. Gordon, and the other guy.
Which K. Gordon is the house that you find. That's the key.
Yeah, at the end,
At
later. It's not the same house as before.
I have no idea what you guys are talking
When you
about.
exit
okay.
the school, you go through the K. Gordon house.
I thought that was the same exact house.
I thought it was. It's not.
Oh, okay.
What?
the
Really?
layout is the same.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
but
almost
it's not
like
exactly the same.
Okay.
that's some bullshit. Am I
Wow.
right, Sluggo?
Wow.
There was something that made me go, oh, it's not the same house.
Well, the notepads moved, where the notepad's on the table in the first house, and the notepad's then on
there's different stuff on the tables too.
yeah, that's fair.
Which are the members of Sonic Youth?
Yep.
Kim
Which I
Gordon,
didn't fucking
Thurston
catch.
Moore, and the other guy whose name I can't remember because I just don't fucking know.
Donald McDonald.
Donald
Duck.
McDonald.
Donald Duck.
Donald McDonald.
So here's a list of things in the school that scared the shit out of me. The
All right.
squeaking little ghost child scared the shit out of me.
Here's a list of things that made me piss my pants.
Top
while
10
playing.
things that made me fucking shit in my pants.
Top 10 things that made me fucking shit in my pants.
Can you be quieter?
Number 1. I'm gonna speak at the same volume, but I'm gonna be very far from my mic, and I have a fan blowing directly on the mic.
And can you play a clip that's extremely louder right after or during, and then not normalize
He was
the
trying
audio?
to use attacking the FedEx box. Like,
He was
package.
enjoying my pets. What the fuck are you talking about?
So
He just started doing it.
the
went
squeaking
crazy.
little ghost babies.
I hated them.
Those fucked me up.
That's
And
it.
they don't attack you. They
me tell.
did in an early build of the game. You could shoot those,
Oh,
and it'd be like you shot the thing that wouldn't even attack you. You're shooting a ghost baby, and they were like that's too much. Let's take that out.
Just that, yeah. These are the only things in the games that scared me. In the game,
The
that
squeaky
scared me.
ghost baby.
Because they're just a jump scare. You don't see them.
well, it's that.
You
and
do
then-
see them.
You don't, but you don't
You can
see
vaguely
like
see them,
yeah,
their visage.
they're hard to see. You generally don't see
They're
them
blue.
until they make that scary noise.
No.
And then also that scared the shit out of me. And then later in the game, fucking just the sound of shit. The fake out noises.
Well, the sound of
Yeah.
a child crying in the bathroom scared the shit out of me.
Yep.
I don't care. expected
Someone
to hear
trying
it.
to open the door behind me when I entered the locker room also scared the shit out of me.
That was just trauma for me because it's
I was
you know
like,
what I mean?
"Ugh."
Like, oh, my dick's no,
My dick is out.
no, please don't come in.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. So every time I enter a new area, I'm really struck by the low, ominous tone, like the doom, like in the school. Like when you're going through, the music kind of fades after a while, but when you like exit a door and enter a new door,
Yeah.
it does the doom, and it's like it's pretty fucking effective sound.
Oh, for sure.
This is where I was like really going like, damn, like, because like the first part of the game, it's this unknown. It's not really super scary. It's just like, oh, it's foggy. Like I'm in these like strange
Yeah.
streets.
It's mysterious. It's
but
quizzical.
like this is where it's like, no, we're just gonna like pound you with like anxiety the rest of the ride, pretty much.
Have you guys?
Well, and it's like the camera angles don't allow you a lot of the time to immediately see the enemy that you hear because your radio kicks on, letting you know an enemy's nearby. And like so many times you'll like walk into a classroom and the angle kind of is looking at you like from like right here, and it's buzzing, but you can't see all the way in front of you, and you're like, where the fuck is it? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like there's so much of that anxiety.
Do you guys ever? Maybe I've asked about this before, but do you guys ever remember seeing in an arcade, usually like a newer, it was a newer thing. There's some sort of like anxiety game where I think it was a shooter, but it had these big rumbling pads on the seats, and it could fit 2 people total. It was one of the dark ones where it was enclosed, and the game was affected by your heart rate, and it would have these weird like vibrating pads. I don't really know exactly how they worked, but they would generate anxiety in you. It sounds like
It's
I'm
an
making
arcade
this up.
game?
Yeah.
I know
Similar
what
to
you're
the
talking
Jurassic
about, I
Park.
cannot think of what this is.
It's similar to like the
I know what
Jurassic
you're talking
Park
about.
one.
I don't think I ever saw it in person.
And I think if
Never saw it.
it raised your heart rate because it was reading your heart rate at the same time, you'd like the game like would be harder or something. I tried that one time, and that shit was so incredibly effective at like making me feel bad
Shit.
that I stopped playing it. I didn't even let the game. I just let us die. I was like, this is fucked. I can't handle
I
this.
think I did play this.
It fucked me up. I'll never get into it again. It was way too like effective. I don't know what it
I remember
did.
it gave me the same feeling that the there was the other thing where like you had to hold on to it and see how long you could stay shocked for before letting
it
go
was
of it.
that.
I was like, I hate this too.
I really hated it.
I remember there was a.
I might have tried it with my
they had the
mom.
Uncle Fester thing. I used to love that thing.
Yeah.
What about Fester?
It was Uncle Fester, and it was an Addams Family thing, and it was that thing where you hold on to the both of them, and it's like how long can you hold on to these? I love that shit. I don't know why.
And then you die.
Anyway, I was eventually able to find a hand that was holding a gold medallion in the chemistry lab. There was some acid on the shelf. I poured the acid on the hand.
A stone statue hand.
Yeah.
I thought it was a severed hand.
No.
No, it was a stone hand. That's why he mentions, because he's like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get this out of here. And I had already found the hydrochloric acid, so I was like, oh, I'll just dump fucking acid on it.
Yeah.
This is one of the few times in the game where it's like the key item is right next to the puzzle, and you just
That
go,
one was.
what if I just combine these two things right now?
This was also the second puzzle that I solved out of the 3.
So,
But even like, man, if they weren't in the same room, if I'm trying to get an item out of a stone hand, I'd be like, I have to break it. I wouldn't think melt it with acid. That's not my go-to. I know
this
that's
is
creative.
just classic adventure game logic. You know what I mean?
That one was a little bit. I was like,
This
okay.
one was not unclear to me. I don't know why, but it just made sense.
It made sense
I didn't
to
get
me
this
I was
one.
immediately.
like, what else do I need
You know
hydrochloric
why?
acid for?
Because I'm an idiot. Oh, why? No, why? Matt's whipping out his other notes. Are there crosses in the bottoms? On the feet down there? On the footers?
Yeah, there's little Irish crosses on here for some reason.
Oh, there you go.
Exchange for sage's water is the line in the poem.
So it's some sort of liquid.
I
you
said,
have to-
so gold in an old man's palm. The future is hidden in his fist. Exchange for sage's water. So the gold in his palm, the future is hidden in his fist means that will advance the time on the clock. And then exchange for sage's water, I was like, exchange for sage's water. I guess the acid could be the sage's water. Let me give the hand the acid. That. So it wasn't logically that I was like, of course you use acid to break a stone.
Yeah.
It was it was literally just because I read the poem and wrote it down and was looking at it when I saw this.
At this point, I didn't realize that you should take the notes so seriously. I thought they were just bringing me to the right rooms.
Also, like, big design complaint in this game is that I like making notes. Like, I have, like, notes for Wasteland where I have, like, all the different guns and all the different ammo types. Because there's fucking, like, 18 literally, there's, like, 7, maybe, ammo types in Wasteland. And they're all just different caliber bullets.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, shit, which caliber bullets do I actually use?
Which caliber?
You know? So I keep, like, almost like a little spreadsheet in my notepad of, like, what characters use which guns and which bullets, so I can just quickly go sell all these I don't use, sell all these I don't use.
Right.
I like to make notes in my games.
I like to.
With a game like this, Resident Evil made the precedence in Resident Evil 1 that when you pick up documents, you keep documents in your fucking inventory.
In the files.
Anything that is relevant to a puzzle later, you can always, in every single Resident Evil game from RE1 forward,
flip back to
you
it.
can always go back to it. And I think it's kind of shit that Silent Hill did not let you do that.
You have to, like, literally go back to the physical thing and read it again.
That was
if
rough.
you wanted
Because
to.
That's why
sometimes
I
they're
always
irrelevant.
took pictures. But like when this game came out, you probably didn't have either a digital camera. You definitely didn't have a cell phone.
If you had a digital camera, you didn't have one that was enough megapixels to make a clear image
Yeah,
of those letters.
CRT.
that's a
yeah,
good point
fucking,
too.
yeah.
Well, anyway, so I went down the alley. I found a 3-foot-long lead pipe.
I don't remember
right
that.
here.
I don't remember that.
What are you talking about? What pipe? You guys found a pipe?
I found like a sledgehammer item.
Found a Peter Gabriel song in the basement.
I found Peter Griffin.
I got that medallion from the Handallion. I took the hand, I got the medallion.
I got that medallion
that
from the
Handallion.
Handallion.
I
a
took
stallion.
it. I said, not only did Andrew tell me I should go to the clock tower with it, what else is it gonna fucking do? I didn't know what else to fucking do, so I did that.
I got cucked right here because I tried to complete the second medallion.
But you couldn't get the second one until it became 12 o'clock.
That's right. Which makes sense.
It does, but
with-
it's the
with
kind of
the
thing
note.
that makes sense only if you look at the whole picture, and it's
fucking-
hard to do
Yeah,
so.
I blew it.
I fucking super lucked out at this part because
Yeah?
I read, like I told you guys, I read the hints, you know what I mean? Like the little things they give you to tell you where to go and how to do the puzzles. I didn't absorb them at all or pay any mind to them.
I literally wrote them down by hand and
know.
said, I have a feeling that this is the game's way of communicating puzzles, and they don't give you any documents, so if I don't write this down, I'm going to be fucking alt-tabbing
Out.
It went
like
fucking
crazy.
right out of my brain. I went and I did the hand thing, and then I did just go back to the courtyard because I was like, oh, this fits in the thing. You know what I mean?
You're
So when
playing
you
it
do,
just like
it
they
becomes
wanted.
noon. There was a piano.
Correct.
It was previously locked. They're like, oh, it's unlocked, but I can't open it for some reason. Is it because you're stupid?
It's because you're fucking a weak
Oh, it's because
pussy.
it's not noon.
He was trying to pull up. We have to pull out and then up.
I fucking hate that.
Just almost fucking threw your iPad at it.
he caught it with
kinda
his.
mad.
He caught it with his knees earlier.
That was good.
That was yeah. You stayed in the bit and caught it with your knees.
So I took the medallion to the clock tower, inserted it, it opened up a previously locked piano in the music room.
You brought the medallion to the clock tallion.
I took a break in the kitchen, fried up some scallions. So I had to look up the solution to this puzzle because I was fucking brain dead from staying up for 27 hours the day before.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, you had a big day.
This one, it took me a while because I saw it. I saw the stuff on the blood. It's blood stains on the wall,
It
right? Am I incorrect?
has nothing to do with bloodstains on the wall.
No.
Yeah.
What am I talking
there's
about?
You
there's
said and here's something where I go, Jordan, what plane of existence are you on? You said you kind of need to know how to read music to solve this puzzle.
You did say that.
Well, to a degree.
No.
I don't
you?
think you
No?
did. No.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I was
Not
getting.
in
And
the
that
slightest.
and that got me ready. I was like, I'm gonna get because I have a MIDI keyboard that was Austin Petrashun,
I
friend
must
of
be
the show.
misremembering this horribly, even in the moment from like the next day.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm sorry.
it's all right.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm a fucking idiot.
But I had a MIDI keyboard that was labeled next to me. Yeah, that's the wrong way.
It's the right way.
That's how you flip people off.
I put people off.
Hey, pal, look at these.
For my hands to do.
I'm good at it.
Yeah, that's how you know I really mean it.
It hurts how much I fucking fuck you.
I'm sorry.
So this puzzle was hard as shit.
So, did I write this down? I thought I did, but I don't see it here.
There's
I may
a
have written down somewhere
long-
else.
There's a long ass poem that
Damn.
serves as the guide.
I'm going to
this-
look up this poem because this is...
That's what it is. Fucking A.
It's like on a. I think it might be on. It's on the green chalkboard right
yeah,
behind
it's right
you.
next to the piano.
But I think there may have been some like musical bullshit on that. I could be wrong.
I can't remember. I thought I remember seeing things on like a, and having to go like up, down, like thinking of. But I could be thinking of an entirely different game.
A Tale of Birds Without a Voice is the name of this poem.
I'm thinking of Majora's Mask. I'm sorry.
First flew the greedy pelican, eager for the reward, white wings flailing. Then came a silent dove, flying beyond the pelican as far as he could. A raven flies in, flying higher than the dove, just to show that he can. A swan glides in to find a peaceful spot next to another bird. Finally, out comes a crow, coming quickly to a stop, yawning and napping. Who will show the way? Who will be the key? Who will lead to the silver reward? So what this means is a tale of birds without a voice. If you go to the piano, some of the keys are dead. Keys are black and white. All of the birds in this poem are either black or white.
Yes.
So you need to go, all right, so in come a silent dove. That's your first key. flying beyond a pelican as far as you could. So the pelican is also white. Go to the farthest white
That's
key.
far away, yeah. That
A
is
raven
silent.
flies in higher than the dove. So you gotta go to the black key above the dove.
Mm-hmm.
It's like go to the black and white keys relating to the poem, the
Yeah.
different colored birds. I was not in a mental state to understand this shit at all, especially because you said
'Cause I fucked it
it
up.
has to do with music theory.
You kinda
I had
fucked me a little
okay,
bit.
so I fucked it up because I was mixing up two memories. In Majora's Mask, there's a moment where you see shadows through a wall, and they're on like a, you know what I mean,
like a
What the
staff.
fuck?
Like a
staff.
staff.
I was like, why can't I remember what it's called?
and so I saw that, and you have
you have
to.
a staph infection like twice a week.
I
You
know,
should
that's why it's
but
weird.
like from that, you
my,
have to
my
determine
musical
what to-
staff gets fucked up.
You have to determine what to play on the ocarina from that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
I
so
see.
that's what I was, and I was
musical
remembering
staff
that.
has infected mushroom songs on it.
Yeah, and fucking mushroom head.
And the fucking issue that I ran into with this is that like I got it. I totally missed the silent part. So I was playing all
Yes.
the keys that made noise.
yeah.
So I was like doing that, and I did it like 5 times, and then like different ways where I was trying to be like, do they mean higher by like it's a higher note, or they mean
Dude.
higher by like it's above it? And I was like, fucking.
I started even doing like, I was like, maybe because they're all proper nouns, like a dove, a raven. I was like, obviously not raven, but I was like, are those the note names? And I tried to like transcribe it with
Right,
raven.
I was going like D.
Yeah, there's no R notes or P notes. So I went hard on this. I tried
In
really
Europe,
hard.
in some places, there's a B, or not a B, an H.
Oh, B note, wow.
And then I intentionally sabotaged the two of you in the group chat.
yeah, you
So
fucked
did you
us
guys
up.
look this up?
I didn't
No,
look this
Jordan,
one up.
you eventually said that it was the. I was like, what the fuck? I think
So
I
it
was
the
getting
si-
mad.
I said something like you have to play the silent keys.
Yeah, because I started.
And
You
that
have to
was
play
like
the
it,
silent ones.
yeah.
I kept mapping out in my brain which ones did not work, and I was like, can't be those ones.
Silent Hills.
Oh, it's in the name of the
it's my
fucking
favorite
game.
game, Silent Hills.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Andrew made a joke that he said I wasn't allowed to talk throughout the entirety of this. Yeah, I've played because
because
it's
you
called-
are the Silent
just to
Hill.
like do a really funny bit about me being.
You haven't. Your mic's muted.
Fuck.
Your
so
gain is all the way
this
down.
is a good
baby.
puzzle. I just did not have the mental bandwidth for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, the puzzle dropped the second medallion, which is a silver one. I brought it back to the courtyard. Here, I realized how much the sound design really does for the intensity of this game, because the courtyard's dark. There's this like menacing sound there.
It's scary.
There's no enemies there.
No.
I was rushing to get the silver medallion in, but I placed it. I walked around. I was like, "There's no one here." I was
Yeah.
freaked out for nothing.
Yeah, there was
there's
nobody
that there's
there.
that absolute sense of panic, and like this is the first spot I remember, but there's multiple areas where like you are safe. You know what I mean? Like as far as like either
Nothing
you've
will
killed
ever
all the
show
enemies
up.
in that room, or like nothing's ever out here.
Yeah.
But like you're fucking.
Yeah, there was like
unnerved.
1 or 2 enemies in the courtyard initially.
Yeah, but
which
once
I
you
killed.
kill them,
So anyway, once I
don't.
placed the silver medallion, the clock struck 5, which was a time that was mentioned in one of those first writings I encountered. And that's where I was like, "Oh, I'm getting it." Intense music began to play. Do you remember this? Like this, like I'll play it here. But the
hear it.
music that played at this part was one of the most intense pieces in the game. It was like it had like a beat to it and stuff. When the
Yeah.
other parts of the music
I
didn't
noticed-
have drums.
Yeah, I
no,
think
they're very
that
like ambient.
may have been the same song that I was talking about that reminded me of the Berserk anime. But I noticed in a lot of the, in some of them, not a lot of the, just spooky noises. They did sometimes have like a pattern, like almost like a beat, but it was never like a 4/4. It was it never
Yeah.
followed. It was like do. It would be the same pattern, but never.
Yeah. This is the first one that had like what I would recognize as like a drum beat. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, what does that mean? There's actually like percussion coming in.
Yeah, it's
And it is
bombastic.
kind of it's for I mean it's ominous for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like as soon as you enter the fucking I don't know the clock tower, this is why it's an impossible thing to me. Because I thought I was really confused by this structure.
The clock tower.
Yeah, the clock
oh yeah,
tower,
I know.
yeah.
It's because
Where I'm like you get an elevator or whatever, but like it takes you down.
yeah, I was like,
Right?
It's not an elevator. It's just a ladder.
Yeah, it's just a ladder. That's what it is. Sorry, you said elevator earlier, and I think it fucked.
I thought it was.
But yeah, you just climb. It's a clock tower, so I figure you're going up, but then you
Yeah,
climb
you figure you
down
go
the
up
ladder.
the tower, but
You
no,
go
you open
deep-
the door to the clock tower,
go
and it's
deep-
just a ladder that goes down.
You
Yeah.
just walk down, and then you just fucking go down this like boring corridor.
Yeah.
Go up.
Well,
what
we'll
looks
get
like-
there. We'll get
Okay,
there. We're
sorry,
not
sorry,
there yet.
yeah.
Because we're not. Because I said, of course, 5 o'clock, time to go to that locked door at the top of the stairs.
That's
I was
what
like,
I did.
oh, that's not where you go. 5 o'clock, the boiler room, as in the choking heat or whatever was in the writing.
yeah.
Of course, I go down to the base. I was like, I'll go to the boiler room at the top of the stairs. I don't know why I thought like boiler room at top. Boiler rooms are always in the basement.
Oh,
Yeah.
always. And it's worth noting that,
Structurally,
like,
that's
That's
work.
how they function. Yeah.
Like, as you're going through, like, these previous 2 puzzles, like, I explored most
Steam does
of
not
the hospital.
Go down naturally.
Unless it could be that those horses in Resident Evil 4 are breathing steam.
Oh, I forgot about the
downward.
steam from the Resident Evil.
I don't think we ever came to a satisfactory
No,
answer
yeah, we
as to
did.
what the
It
fuck is
was
happening
flaming
there.
hot, white hot
Like,
steam.
that flame's so hot that it's white.
So hot.
And you can't see it's steamy.
It is literally the flame texture colored white. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
So
I still don't have a fucking answer.
I was wrong. I had to go to the boiler room. I activated a switch
You
in
big
the
dummy.
boiler room, headed back to the clock tower, which is now unlocked.
Also, there are some valves next to the boiler room that, like, it seemed like you could fuck with them, but then, like, the thing said, better not touch them.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think
they
it said
really-
something along the lines of, like, I don't think I could turn this even if I wanted to.
Yeah, but I was like,
know
that
what I
seems
mean?
like it's part of the puzzle.
Right. But it's no. This is the reason that was confusing is because normally it would say nothing interesting here.
Useless.
And this
Use
time
some
we didn't.
useless valves.
Which is like, I thought it, and I remember, like, seeing that, like, in this moment, I remember hitting the valves with the lead pipe. Like a fucking
I kept hitting
caveman,
shit with the pipe, yeah, that's
because
all I
was
used
like,
it for.
Because the pipe specifically says on the item, like, there must be a use for this. You know what I mean?
But it's
It's smashed to cockroaches.
Yeah, it seems like it might be a factor in a puzzle.
And it is later you can use it to break something.
one time in the
That's
game
right,
you
yeah.
use the pipe on the environment.
Yeah.
So I went down the ladder. I walked through a small room to go up another ladder, but I got confused because I was like, "Oh wait, I was just here.
Yeah.
Let me go back." So I went back and forth a couple times. And I was like, "Wait a minute." Oh no, I'm going into an alternate realm that's a mirror realm of the other place I was just in. But I
It's like, where did I get turned around?
because it happens to me in games all the time where I'm like, oh shit.
Especially in this game, like with the tank controls and the camera angles changing, it's happening to me way more in Resident Evil.
And this,
But it's easy
Yes.
to turn yourself around unintentionally.
and I would say also in Resident Evil, I'm having way more encounters where it's like enemies off screen. And in Silent Hill, you can hold the L trigger and swing your camera around and see them if you need to, and
Yeah.
just like check where they are.
Yes.
Resident Evil, sometimes you gotta go, cool, I guess I'll just wait here until they walk up to me.
There's times where
until they
you-
get close
Only a
enough to
couple
attack.
times. but
Every now
still.
and then, like I just,
There's like
I
a cool
was playing.
mirror in one spot where like you see the
That was
mirror.
I was talking about that room. I took it. You could, but even still, in that room, I did that this morning. I took a left, and instantly there was like he fucking sliced me, and it was one of
Yeah.
the tougher enemies. And I was like, "Fucking!"
Yeah.
He was silent. He was just silently standing there.
He was Silent Hilling there.
Jill would have been able to see him right in front of her, but I couldn't because of the angle.
Once I realized what I did, I got out. There's this demonic, hellish version of the courtyard.
It's like a big fucking
It's got a big old.
pentagram-looking
Penty in
goddamn
there.
thing in the
So it's the
fucking...
mark of Sam I Am or whatever.
That's right.
So there is a strange Illuminati-looking symbol in the center of the courtyard.
I am Sam.
As I go into the school, there's blood, barbed wire. It's orange and rusty. There's giant roaches. There's this terrible, discordant piano stab. And it was more gruesome than anything I experienced so far in the game.
That's what our
It's
high
like
school
the...
was like.
Yeah.
And
But this is like
I
really
thought,
when
I thought it was
like,
normal.
Because like Andrew had said that like the game wasn't really like scary at any moment. I'm like, admittedly there weren't a ton of moments that like scared me. You know what I mean? That were like scary. But like this was really when it's like they did a really good job of making the place like creepy and unnerving.
it had incredibly strong atmosphere.
Yes.
Like distinct
It was very
atmosphere.
cohesive, for sure.
It really felt like, damn, this is really like an interesting world. I wasn't always scared, but it was like,
I believed it.
yeah, I was like, damn, this is they're really building
You're
this
like
place.
walking on like a chain link fence everywhere you go with
Yeah.
like
That
God
was
knows what
pretty
underneath it,
wild.
hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like hell
and like
underneath
there's
this
and
fucking...
panels
like I
falling
said,
out.
you know, I sent you guys the clips, but this is like a perfect marriage of the hospital scenes in Hellraiser and Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder, he's like on a stretcher, and he's like looking up through a grate, just like the grates on the floor. You're looking, you know,
Yeah.
the floor is like the ceiling in Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, okay.
It's just you know, and the barbed wire and the chains are very Hellraisery. It's if you watch, you know, the creators have gone on record saying, especially Jacob's Ladder, huge influence on Silent Hill as a series, but especially this first game, and you can totally see it. And it's like it's in one way, it's kind of like, I mean, like they just took that shit.
Yeah, like 1-to-1.
It was effective.
yeah.
It was effective, and
Everybody's
and,
inspired
you know,
by something.
Like
Yeah.
the horror scenes in Jacob's Ladder, they're sparse. They're few and far between, and when they happen, it's supposed to like shake your, understand
Moneymaker?
reality and be like, what, I
Yeah.
can't tell like where I'm at. The similar ideas of struggling to understand the boundaries of what's reality, what's a dream, what's my own psychosis, what is someone else's psychosis.
Is this real life?
Is this the real life?
Is this just fantasy?
There we
Is
go.
this the sweet life?
Of Zach and Cody?
Is this the simple life?
I really,
With Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton.
Oh yeah.
I used to watch that.
So give me more.
I recently watched it. I recently watched the first half of the first season, and
Is that
I
where
couldn't
they?
finish it.
Is that where you saw uncensored titties on TV? Was that the show you were watching?
No.
No, was that was probably you and your girlfriend were recently watching. It
was when your TV was there.
The Hugh Hefner show, the Playboy Bunny
They don't show uncensored shit. There was one. Yes,
Girls Next Door.
there,
That's what I'm
they
talking
did
about.
slip a titty out on
Yeah.
what's it called?
Girls Next Door, I think.
Yeah, Girls Next Door. It was very surprising.
I really want to like Hellraiser. I really like the concept of the Cenobites, but it seems like
Because
the
you're horny
movies.
and angry.
I actually don't think you like the concept of the Cenobites.
Why?
Because you are made uncomfortable by other people's sexuality, and Cenobites are a manifestation of the strongest, most perverse sexual desires.
Yeah, but also pain. I think they're very interesting.
It's the
Their
fact
world
that,
is
pain
cool.
can't be distinguished from pleasure because they're going to such extremes.
They're just like the maximum hedonism.
It's cock and ball torture.
yeah,
it's all
just surprising
CBT.
to be into that because anytime like anybody expresses their the slightest sexuality, you're like, that's weird. I don't like that.
17,500 people saw you admit that you don't.
I don't
that's
do that. Disgusting. No, I think they're really cool. I think
No,
they're very
you should
compelling.
have given a knowing glance at the camera afterward. I'll edit that so you look like a champion.
Put the bib on me again.
We should sell that bib.
I hate that you spent 3 months of Patreon funds on that stupid bib from Wish.com. The I love
wanted-
sucking pussy bib.
I needed to express myself.
It looked like it was going to be way bigger on the website.
It looked like it was gonna be a moo.
When I use the
It
AR,
looked like it was going to wear like a poncho.
you know how you can like on your phone, like you can like show like a new ottoman. They can like show in my room. You guys ever
Yeah.
see that with AR? I did that for the bib, and it looked like it was the right size.
It wasn't to scale.
I really want to like Hellraiser, but it seems like the books and the movies and the comics are just kind of all right.
I think they're brilliant. I don't know what you're looking for though.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the characters and the world of Hell more so than the reality and like the humans and stuff.
Yeah, they don't go deep into that
That's
stuff.
what I'm interested by. I think they'd probably be fun to
The
watch.
parts
though.
where they do go deep into the workings of hell and
live
like
in
how
a-
Pinhead became Pinhead and stuff.
Yeah, that shit's cool.
It's not that interesting. It's like the
want
kind
it
of
to
the
be
worst
cool.
fucking movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, really what it is just like
I watched some summary videos on this, and I was like, I feel like I got the best out of this.
I think
by
you could
doing
watch
that.
like the trailers for like Hellraiser 3 through 7 and be like, cool, that's enough.
They look like they're all pretty
All
wacky.
the best scenes are there.
I get it.
Yeah,
They're not the first two I think are brilliant movies.
Hmm.
After that,
that's when like Clive Barker stopped doing them, right? It was
right,
like
and
somebody
some
else.
of them are
And they
not
just turned
even
them into-
Hellraiser movies. They just like were other movies. They were like, fuck, shoot a couple more scenes and slap Hellraiser's name on this.
Yeah, like they totally like they just turned like the characters into like slasher, like murderers.
Yeah,
And it's like-
which is
it's like-
not what it's supposed to be at all.
That's not-
It's
yeah.
completely missing the point. But this stuff is very reminiscent of Hellraiser. So I wandered through. I found a card key on a table. I was like, oh, there's a card with a key on it. That's weird. There are cards spread about. I just love that. Like he's just like, bit chilly in here, and it's like, do you not realize you've entered hell?
You're in another dimension.
What's with all this? Why does it look so
I
weird?
haven't seen a nurse
Eventually,
or
I
a doctor.
inserted that key card into a strange door, the same door that previously in the school, past the reception lobby, I saw
Had
a
a
painting of it.
spooky painting. Yeah, I thought that was
I
kind
think
of cool.
he said, I don't know what this is, but it's definitely in poor taste.
He said it was in poor taste.
I was like, it's like, Harry, you're like a real fucking wet towel, like fucking
Buzzkill, boner,
like I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
dweeb.
He's just super conservative in a
Yeah.
very boring and lame way.
But he looks
He's
like
crude.
Yeah, I was gonna say
but he looks
British.
like the star of an action movie. He looks like a badass.
That's they try to make him look as nondescript as possible.
Yeah.
That's why he looks just like Alan Wake.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So,
those guys are
as I was
action
going through,
stars.
I found a phone. I couldn't answer it. I walked away from it.
the three of them on a table.
Now, somebody mentioned, I was watching some analyses here, the phone is this striking blue color. It's like the only thing that's really got a strong hue in this whole hellish section, which I didn't really connect with that, but it's true. Like, in retrospect, it's like, man, that does really pop out. I guess I was so early into that section that it didn't strike me as much as it should have.
Yeah, it didn't stick with me by any
But
means.
like it's there's nothing else like that looks that color, that hue,
Right.
or that's that vibrant in the other realm. You pick up the phone, it's Cheryl. She's going, Daddy, help me.
help me,
Where are
Daddy."
you, Daddy?
How you be dating?
I have the full transcription here.
But like even still, oh, you're please.
No, I don't. I was
okay.
gonna say, Daddy.
It is pretty
help."
much
But
that.
she's like, Where are you, Daddy?
I'm so
I'm so sorry. But what's so weird is like she like all the dialogue is so weird. She's like, Daddy, help me. Cheryl.
Cheryl?
Have you seen my daughter? Cheryl?
Yeah,
She's
it's like
years old.
so stuttered.
The
and
child looks about 7, black hair.
Huh?
Have you seen my daughter, Cheryl?
So I went to the locker room. I found the library reserve key. I went into the locker room, and that banging from earlier that was in the other world, and we'll call them the fog world and the other world. But in the fog world, there was that banging in the locker room.
Yeah.
It was still there, so I slowly opened this blood-soaked locker.
Did you open it in the fog world? I don't know if we talked about
couldn't.
what was inside.
I
I
don't
In the
couldn't.
locker room? Yeah, man. I opened that shit up.
Oh, what was in there?
There was a nice little puss.
There's a
Oh,
puss
yes,
puss?
there's a cat.
Little kitty.
You let a cat out.
Yeah, and he
I did
jumps
not
out and he goes,
find that.
wow, and then he runs out.
Yes,
I-
that's
I
right.
did not find that.
You've triggered the memory in me.
Yeah,
But
he-
yeah, it's like if you do that.
You're
while-
triggering me.
I'm triggering all you
triggered.
guys.
You're gaslighting me. You're triggering
In
me.
this one,
Well, hold on, but the sweetie
on,
little
you're
puss, the sweet puss jumps down. He runs outside, and then like you hear like, "Meow," and like a dung dung, and he's you assume he got fucking killed by one of the little ghost guys.
I hate that.
But then in Hell World,
Yeah, you're going up, you're just trembling, you're like, open the locker. It's nothing. It's completely empty. You go, cool.
It was full blood.
Pounding stops.
But, like,
it was full,
there's
of blood,
full of
but
blood.
there's nothing there.
Nothing
as
else.
if you like
Crucified guy didn't bug you, so why was the locker full of blood?
Right.
the locker looks like you microwaved like a blood pile,
you-
and it
you-
just exploded
You
out.
microwaved like fucking like 4 red popsicles.
Yeah, they all blew up.
You
Tomatoes.
take 2 steps, and then a corpse slams out of a locker right in
That's-
front
that-
of you.
that
And jump
was-
scares you. That did make me go.
I did go
Yeah.
fucking goddamn it.
I hated that. I hated
I went
that
like
because
this. I went. Oh no! And poured beer all over my PC.
Oh no! Jordan punches it.
I fucking it startled me, especially because like
Oh no!
oh fuck
Oh,
shit.
no!
No,
Shit!
no, it's
Come!
happening.
Fuck! Why?
But I fucking I had checked every locker.
Me too.
Like I just walked up. I was like, this was at a point where I was like, even in like, because in the classrooms too,
After you opened the blood one?
no, before that,
What?
like when I walked into the room, I was checking everything, man.
Yeah, I was too.
I was just checking everything.
It was so like it looked like in like
It
an
was
old car.
obvious that was the end, but like I want to check the other ones. Just be like, this game's pulling some shit on
I
me.
was
I gotta
just
walk.
slamming A at every locker.
I was gonna
know
say
what I mean? Like-
it's like an old cartoon where like something is clearly like not part of the painted background cell.
Oh no, it was
and it's
very
animated,
obvious
and
that
you're
was
like,
the
oh
one,
yeah.
but I mean, like I had
Right,
been
like
doing
the the wine glass on the painting in Resident Evil 4.
It stuck right. It was gigantic.
but it's like in fucking I lost my train of thought. It's okay.
Can I?
You checked them all. You checked all the lockers.
Yeah, like even in the classrooms, like if I was in a classroom and there, I don't
I
think there was,
checked all the desks.
I don't think there was ever anything in any of the lockers in the classrooms. I checked every fucking time.
I checked
Really?
the teacher's desk, and they always be like, "There's nothing useful in the
Yeah,
desk."
every time.
Yeah.
There's nothing of use here.
Do you want to check your notes for something?
I want to check. Yeah, I didn't tell that lady that I'm leaving, or that I'm staying a little bit later.
Your bitch of a girlfriend.
Yeah.
When are you gonna break up with her? She's gonna get
Tonight.
too Instagram famous, then she's gonna have to leave you.
Yeah, it's we're
She's gonna have to
getting we're
get
getting
with someone who fucking trends me.
we're getting close. I don't know
closer
what
to
that.
20K
I
followers.
probably bought us a couple months with the
Pussy
with
sucking
the
video?
pussy video. Yeah,
The big creamy pussy.
I think she bought you a couple months with her pussy video.
that's right.
Doesn't really
Make
doesn't
any
really
sense?
make any sense,
No.
but
I think a
I
couple
believe it.
people bought a few months for that. pussy
Yeah,
video.
there's a lot of purchasing going on.
A lot of people.
so
I don't have to.
I'm sure.
but you do, and that bothers me. You don't have to, but you do.
I do. It's the principle of the thing.
You're simping.
That's how our relationship started.
You DM'd her on OnlyFans.
You won
there's a
a
reason-
fan contest.
It seems like
And it went really well. It
seems
went
like-
way better. Like
We didn't even fuck. We just like talked all night, and then
they
at like 7 a.m. we were like, I think I want to be with you.
they pay
were
me
we
a lot
supposed
of
to record a video for your OnlyFans?
yeah, they pay me a lot of money at the co-op, but just most of it goes to her. That's why I never have any money to continue being my girlfriend.
So that corpse fucking dropped out of the locker. Okay,
And it said, "Boo."
it scared me. It had a key in it.
You had to get in there like a marionette.
I
Like,
keep
like
finding
a
shotgun
puppet.
shells. No shotgun. The
Rally around
shotgun
the
is
family.
like one of the you find it pretty early on here if you do things right.
Yeah.
I did not find the shotgun until I was ready to leave the school.
I noticed
Really?
that you often found ammo right before you found the weapon.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's only 2 more
It
weapons.
was like
you find.
it was like 4 shit. Like one
Yes.
like it was like 2 rooms before the shotgun. You found
Yes.
some shells.
Yeah.
And I skipped that shit somehow. And
didn't?
then I looked up like I looked up a map because I was like I'm confused here because I was getting
Yeah.
ready to fight the boss. I was like I still haven't found the shotgun and I really thought it went in every room.
You did.
And it was just like kind of like around the corner in the room.
Yeah. It's
Did
And I
just
was
you
like,
really
how did I
have to-
fucking miss that?
What? No.
It's
This is in the one of the boys or the girls' rooms. But when you go in those rooms and you come back out, one of them transports you to a secondary alternate.
No,
like,
it puts you
realm.
on the first floor or second floor. It's
That's
just
all it
changed-
does?
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah,
thought it was a different
It just
world.
takes you on the first floor or second
Oh.
floor. I realized that after making it to the second floor. Because like I said, I broke everything down into like, oh, I got into the hallway on the left side of the building. I'm checking every fucking room in this hallway before I
Yeah,
exit
I
the
think
hallway.
I just like I knew I figured I was like I looked at my map, I was like, oh, 2F or whatever. Oh, I see. They're fucking with me.
Well, the shit was so samey that I didn't realize that.
But
at
I just
first.
I just didn't look in the bathroom. I guess I just
I
skipped
did
it.
have
Idiot.
that. I did have a panic attack though, where I thought I was losing it for a minute when I left.
I
that
really
bathroom.
thought I was
Yeah.
like, great. Did I fucking
because there's a door right across from you that disappears.
It's also common in
Depending
old
on where you
adventure
go.
games to have like, oh, you fucked yourself.
You
Time
kind
to
of get
load your
soft
save.
locked out of
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I was like, is this game?
An asshole.
No, it's 1999.
Yeah.
This isn't 1992.
No, this isn't. I have no mouth that I must fucking scream.
Jesus
You know what I mean?
Christ.
But like, it is like it.
Fuck
it-
that
I
game.
had that moment where I was like,
I keep seeing
Am I
me in the
trapped here?
reflection of your mirror, and it's scaring me.
yeah, I'm like, did I not open a door in the right time? Did I come here too early? Did I, you know what I mean, or whatever?
Yeah. Sorry, that time I thought your face that I'm seeing was also in the reflection, but it wouldn't be because you're looking the opposite direction.
I have no face and I must look.
I'm getting
I
very.
have no mouth and I must explain.
All this Silent Hill talk is
I have
freaking
no
me
balls and
out.
I must coom.
Help me!
But what are you just
What are
trying
you
to say
talking
was
about?
spooky and
I
shit?
was just trying to say it was spooky, and it felt like I had lost my grip on reality for a moment.
Yeah,
As I was
it
coming
fucked
in
with
there.
me.
Because like I went into the wrong bathroom. If you go back into the same bathroom, it takes you and you leave again.
Yeah.
It takes you back to the first floor, and you're like, oh, everything's normal. But I went into the other bathroom thinking, oh, this must be the way to get out of this weird spot.
Yeah.
Came back out, and I was like, I'm trapped.
Oh, because you're locked in on one of the floors before you unlock
Right.
the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fucks. It's just fuck. And the thing I like is that this is the only point in the game it fucks you like that. It
is.
doesn't ever do another map trick ever.
Nope.
And the only other time it's something similar is like there's when the elevators you have to go like up and down. Then you're like, oh, there's suddenly a 4th floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I could see people
Which
not
is
even
something that-
catching
yeah.
that.
I didn't.
I picked up
didn't.
on it.
I didn't. I had to Google. This
Really?
is one of the moments I had to look it up because I thought I had done everything, and I did 3 more fucking rounds of the school before I was like, I missed something.
I saw
I
four
have
instantly.
One of my other big complaints with this game is that if anything, it does have some of that old school fuck you adventure game logic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I don't. I think the only way that stuff works really well is when it's a new game that you are playing with friends and you can talk about it and be like, oh, you got fucked, but let me tell you the fucking secret here.
Exactly.
But when you're playing modern games and you're outside of that sort of camaraderie or you're outside of like way far from the fucking release window.
Yeah.
And you're just like alone playing it, you have no one to bounce ideas off of. That kind of stuff sucks. I think that's archaic in the sense that the culture has moved
Away
past-
from that, yeah.
Where it made more sense when there weren't online FAQs. You did have to talk shit out, and it was common to like be like, oh, there's just this is the secret, and
Yeah.
you know, or to even get the guides or something. But like,
Yeah, I remember my
you know,
mom
those
owned
kinds of
the
things
Zelda
don't work
guides.
anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's
Like
right.
she
yeah.
owned the old like Zelda booklets, officially licensed by Nintendo. But no, it was fucking. I got so frustrated going around the school after I felt like I had done everything I could. You know what I mean? I'm like I'd gone through all 3 floors.
That's such a fear I had.
I literally checked every fucking room. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
multiple times.
While we're playing Resident Evil, I don't feel that. I don't feel like I'm going to not know where I haven't gone. but I did feel that in Silent Hill. I was like, oh god, am I gonna go through everything and then not know what I missed, and then just keep missing that thing?
And it
Which
never
is
happened.
No,
Really?
because I
There's
googled
one
the
room-
thing that I missed was just that.
oh, I missed.
And the thing is, as soon as I saw, it like showed a picture. It was like, you need to, suddenly there's mysteriously a 4th floor. And I saw the picture and I was like, I fucking saw that.
Yeah.
I saw the 4. And I
picked
just
it up.
right over my fucking head.
I got a bada bing. I got it instantly.
Bada bing right away. No, it went
Bada
right over
bing.
my fucking
Those
head.
numbers are cooking.
Turtle roof.
Through the roof.
So
You a horrible Age of Foley.
I sound just like him.
I found a book
And
in the
like
library.
the cut of his jib.
I found a book in the library about. It was all about being swallowed by a lizard and shooting the lizard in the throat and shit.
Yeah.
I thought that one was lame. It was just like, oh, I'm gonna fight a boss. That's a lizard, and it was just like you got to shoot him.
Yeah,
And
it
I
was like when the mouth
okay.
opened, shoot in the fucking throat.
you don't have to even.
I didn't.
Sure
I didn't
killed
like
him without
remember
doing
that, but then when I got to the boss fight, it like jogged my. I was like,
oh,
that's why I read
shoot
that.
him.
As I explored the school, I found a weird fucking closet with a bunch of dolls strung up and a ball, and I was like, cool. Did a kid get fucking diddled in here? This is fucked up. I don't like this.
Nope.
You found a rubber ball.
What would you ever use that for?
I
I
think
love
that'd be.
those balls.
I think that'd be a useless
Those are
item.
really fun.
What are they, like
Like they're racquetball balls. Or like ball ball.
but there's like the pink. There's the pink ones. They're not racquetball balls. They're like for kids. They're like gelato.
Gelato?
No, they have like a JA name.
I don't remember.
They're like it sounds like an Indian word, and it's like they're like a really nice ball for wall ball. You know what I mean? For
I used to play the fuck out of wall ball.
just
I've never done this. I don't
You
know.
never played wall ball?
you bounce it off the floor, which ricochets onto the wall, bounces back, you catch it. Do 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 do. And you're just supposed to, it's just
And it's
like
like you can
catching
go
yourself,
back and
basically.
forth, or like you with other people, like we do it, where it's like there'd be like 5 of you or whatever, and you throw it, and you have to try to catch it. You know what I
All
mean?
right.
Yeah, have to throw it at an angle so the other person can catch it.
Yeah, well, like you throw it at the wall to try to get it, bounce it to the other person, or
Yeah.
there would or it would just be chaos because we were like 7 or 8.
Everyone would throw it at the same time.
One
and then just
person
get
throws
hit.
it, and then everybody tries to catch the ball.
Oh my
You know
god.
what I mean? So it's like we played a lot of games like that. Like, do you ever play like 500?
Yeah.
Where
that
like
was
you
brutal.
launch a football
I
in the air
never
or whatever,
did-
and then everybody tries to get it at once, and you're like, this one's three. Everybody's trying to get to the point.
Yeah, but like
You guys were kids, right?
You could just you could just choose, but the thrower could just choose the amount of points.
I also my there's always that
Ja
one.
Ru. It wasn't a word at
Oh,
all. It was
okay.
JA-RU. Ja Ru.
This murder.
He wants
Rule.
to do the original high bounce pinkies.
Oh, okay. Those are the
like
classics.
the classic rubber ball.
Those are
Never
the
seen it.
classics.
Oh man, I'll
never-
get us a couple.
Never laid my
They
eyes.
really
upon
are.
it.
They fucking bounce.
They're so
Yeah.
much fun to play with.
Like we can go, we
right.
can relive my childhood in it because I live across. We can go back to St. Peter's School. They're working on it right now and just fucking
right.
play some wall.
All right, we'll
ball.
make that video. I'll order us a couple balls using Patreon money. And guys, I can only get a 500
pack.
pallet
So unfortunately, there goes all
But
the
if-
money for
if-
the set.
It fell off.
for several years.
It
We're
fell.
actually in the red to Patreon.
It fell off the truck when they
Took out
were
a
taking it
Patreon
down.
credit card.
I actually need you guys to give me money for like now. I'm homeless.
They all bounced right
I
into
have
the
a lot
river.
of balls.
My girlfriend left me when I brought all these home.
She's like, no.
So anyway,
She's like, no.
whenever
These are
I,
balls.
I,
This is the
I go
balls.
back up to that third floor room.
Well, one.
The one
on
where
the roof.
Yeah, the one where you couldn't open the door
I
earlier.
couldn't open the door earlier, but in the other realm, I can. The
shadow
I go on the
realm.
roof and I go, oh, it's a lovely roof.
No.
Oh, nothing interesting here. Just
Useless.
a roof.
Nothing of
Useless.
interest on
Useless
this
roof
roof.
up here.
This roof is not of interest to me.
Just a bunch of useless stuff on this roof.
I hate this part. I hate this part.
Really?
Yeah, I hate this part.
It really made sense to me. I really don't get why you hate it so much.
I didn't get it. I had no idea. At this point, I still didn't. Well, let's say what happens.
Okay, so I go up to the roof.
And you fucking jumped off.
You go. There's
Fuck
the
you.
first thing all the way to the back. There's like a valve, and you can see water running. Okay.
Yes.
And if you follow the drain pipe to the end of it, you look at the end of the drain pipe, and there's a key in the drain pipe. It's like
There's
I can't
also
reach
a,
it.
a splotch of blood there to help
Sure.
clue you in to
Yeah,
look,
to kind of like
look
lead you
here.
to right there.
Yeah, and if you look at it, it goes, oh, there's a key, but I can't reach it. So if you look at the drainage pipe,
Drainage
it goes
pipe.
like this around the perimeter of the roof, and there's a
Yeah, because
hole.
it's almost like a gutter.
It's a
Yeah.
gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a hole at the corner,
Sorry.
and so if you turn the water
crying.
on, the water will go as far as the hole, and then it'll stop because it goes down the hole. So you can't flush the key out.
You go, oh, that's not where I need it to go.
Oh, you go. There's a circular hole. Maybe I can fill it with a round object.
Round
Which you're
object?
going. You hate this part. You're going. I think Resident Evil is absolutely incredible. It's amazing. All Resident Evil is there's a hole of this shape. I better put an item of that shape into the hole.
No.
Yes, that's all it is. That's like basically every single puzzle in Resident Evil is.
I'm not saying
there's
that's
a shape
not true.
Of this, and I need to put the object that shapes that in the hole.
But like this.
That made a lot of sense, Matt.
So why did you hate?
See, even
I
though-
want to
even-
hear your perspective.
Well, my perspective first is that all that gibbledy-gosh you just said, even though it was all ununderstandable, I got your point. And I understand the message that you were trying to convey. In addition to that,
I'm gonna let you finish. This puzzle is the worst.
this is the worst fucking puzzle. This is just so like, this is before I understood that every item was going to be important. And I picked up the ball. I found the ball. I had the ball at this point. But like this is
holding my balls at this
I was
point?
holding my balls because I was squeezing them because I was
Did
getting,
you not
I was
pick
getting
up the
so
ball?
mad. No, I had the ball. I had the ball.
Did you think it was not going to be important?
Initially, yeah.
That's dumb.
I didn't know because I thought that.
What did you think you were gonna use to play catch?
Well, there's some maybe I don't know. There's some items that aren't part that you can pick up that are not part of the main quest.
No, they're not.
That are side things. So
Yeah.
I was like, ball. I'm like, and how
remember.
often?
Every item gets used.
Yeah.
It's
But
either
I
a
know.
weapon or a key item.
Yeah.
There's no other types of items.
But like I don't know if it maybe at that point what I mean is that at that point in the game I didn't know if there was side shit. If it was like, oh, this is you collect 3 red balls and you use them to trade them in at a machine to get a new like a trophy or
Sure.
like a new outfit. I didn't know. But everything in the game is just talking about like when you see like debris or accoutrement, the game calls it useless.
Useless
I would feel like, and I know you could pick it up, so I shouldn't have thought this. But when I picked up the ball, I was just like, that seems like an item that would have been useless.
The same argument could be made
If
for
it was
the,
useless, he would have said so.
for the plastic bottle, though.
I thought,
Which
yeah,
we skipped over. We mentioned it earlier.
we
but
got
like,
the bottle. I got the bottle.
We didn't talk about that because it
that's right.
happens in the next.
Yep.
Part of the
Yep,
game.
Yep. Getting it mixed up.
This was just like
But
I
no,
don't
that's-
know.
You could say the same thing where like that's just garbage on a table.
Right, but if it were, the game has taught you that if it's garbage, you don't pick it up.
I get that, but I wouldn't think a rubber ball would be a key item. You know what I mean?
I guess in the context of the game, what do you think you would use it for? Or you
I
would
don't
think you
know.
thought it had no use?
I didn't think it had no use. Why would it be in the game? I just
Right.
like I didn't know
So if
at
it's
that
not a
time.
weapon, what else would it be if not a key item?
I'm saying I don't because I'm talking about like main like progression items. I didn't know if there were side items for like side quests or like a
There
unlockable. Yeah,
But those are also key items.
we're talking about this like the
They're
sy-
items that are
syntax
used to
here.
solve puzzles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was one that was
There's like a third category of like collectibles, maybe. you're
maybe.
saying?
Yeah, I didn't know at that time if like every single item was going to be
But when you
used
did
for.
you turn the valve and see that the water was going down a hole?
No,
You didn't turn the valve?
I didn't do that because I was so lost at this point. I'm trying to remember exactly how it went
Motherfucker's
down.
talking about this puzzle sucks. Didn't even turn the valve.
I turned the valve once I knew it was part. I didn't see the valve.
It's the only thing you can interact with in the whole
I
thing.
had
aside
went
from the hole.
to the valves in the boiler room.
You have to kind of like to
on the
interact with
roof
the hole.
now.
You have to kind of like lay down.
I know, but the valve, like the angles, I didn't see that valve. I thought it was just another background thing. And I remember my previous experience. I tried to fuck with the valves in the boiler room, and they said,
It's not the same valve.
I'll be honest with you.
Matt, I know that now.
I was just really.
I saw lots of doors in that game. I only went in like 6 of them.
I mashed A on anything that seemed interactable. at all.
Yeah, no, I was
just
trying to do that.
fucking- yeah.
But I just it didn't add up to me. I didn't know what the fuck to do at this point. I was very lost.
You had to look this one up.
I had to look it up. I saw the key was in there. If I had like I think I looked at like I was lost at this point in the game, and then when I looked up like I was and I wasn't trying to spoil it. I was like, just can I look up where to go next? Where the next because I didn't want to know, but
Yeah.
the way I read it, it told me what to do, and I was just like, I don't know if I would have came to that conclusion. Use the ball. It's not even an intense puzzle. I just
Here's
like
why I think you would.
It felt
because
so
you,
subtle.
You'd see a round hole.
Round
and
hole.
you would go, oh, okay. Well, it's clearly a puzzle. In every other puzzle, I pretty much had to use an item on the puzzle. I have a round object. It's kind of like, you ever see like the toy for toddlers where you have like a block that's got like a star shape and a square
Yes.
shape and a triangle, and the toddlers put the shapes?
I wouldn't say they're all for toddlers.
I'm just some are for autistic adults, but
Well, I use them.
I'm
Andrew?
saying I
There's a
think
test you should
I
take.
think there's a couple
I
groups.
think you're
There's a
selling
couple
yourself
groups
short by saying
therefore.
I would not have figured this out.
Maybe, I don't know. I just thought
Because
this
I
one
think
was.
you go into your inventory, you'd go round hole, round ball.
That's what I would say.
I mean,
Andrew
I
alone in
would
his
say it out
apartment.
loud.
Round hole, round ball.
I would be
Slapping
I
my
don't
desk.
know. I don't want to think you're that dumb.
It just felt so like, I don't know, that one in particular just kind of felt very subtle for me. I don't
Can
know.
I tell you why it felt subtle? Because you didn't turn the valve. If you turn the valve, the camera goes like,
Yeah, it took a fucking.
and then like does
it
a
took
fucking close up on the hole, and
It
it's
took a
like
goddamn hour. Yeah.
it's like I can see if you didn't catch the valve, you wouldn't. I could see being like, oh, I don't fucking
and
get
this
it.
is like
Yeah.
like
And
I've
also,
never. What's and that's what
If you go to the valve earlier in the game,
in the boiler room.
no, on the roof.
Yeah,
You try to interact with it. He's like, oh,
this is
I
useless.
shouldn't fuck with it. Only after you've done everything else and you return there can you fuck with it.
So maybe
That's
maybe I did that as well. I don't
you
remember
could have.
exactly.
Because like the first time I tried to interact with the valve, it was like, oh, this doesn't do anything.
I can't remember for certain if
Which
I
is
did that, but
frustrating.
it
It should be
feels like,
like-
I maybe did.
He should have said like,
Can't use this yet
yeah.
or
Why
right
might I
now.
need to use this
And
later?
even I know that's bad writing.
even that's
'cause,
still
like,
kind
why would
of-
he say that? Why would he
Yeah.
say like I should do this later? It's like he doesn't know. But it should be like
or like,
Okay.
no reason for me to turn this right now.
also.
Also.
Let's say he did turn it. It wouldn't do anything. It would still just put the water down the hole.
Yeah.
There's
Why-
no
why
reason.
couldn't they have
It doesn't like spoil progression
Yeah, I
for
hear
you
what
to be
you're
able
saying.
to put the water down. That was another thing that I thought in this game was kind of like poor design is
They kept doors closed like too much. Not like actual doors, but you know what I mean.
right where it's like it doesn't make any sense. Like I understood like not being able to open the piano just yet. That made sense. Because I need to complete the puzzle in order.
Yeah.
And it
Because
was
of the
also
time.
It was directly related to the time on the clock, and it was
Yep.
foreshadowed and explained in the notes. Cool. It's a little obtuse, but it's a puzzle. I get it. I can
like-
draw a direct line between all the logic. But here I go. There's nothing saying like I can't turn the valve to make the water go down a hole because the water going down the hole doesn't explain the puzzle. You only get the full
Yeah.
picture when you look at all
And
the
you see
pieces.
the key. And it's almost as if like they wouldn't have allowed you to find those keys when you did at the beginning. You know what I mean?
I don't think you could.
I thought you found all the keys before you went into the house.
Oh no, I mean the key in the drain pipe.
Oh, no.
I tried to go up there pretty early on in
Yeah.
the game. I checked that drain pipe.
Yeah.
Couldn't interact.
Well, that's
with
what I
it.
mean is like that's a weird
And that's also
inconsistency.
frustrating. It's like it'd be like I could see maybe like, okay, you can't get the ball till way later.
Yeah.
So you just know in the back of your mind, there's a puzzle on the roof, there's a key, but I haven't found anything to block that drain pipe yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go and interact with anything on the roof before you get the ball, those puzzles, I believe you cannot I'll check my footage here. I believe you cannot interact and see the key in the drain pipe.
Wild.
And if you can interact with the valve,
It's
and
But
it
super.
gives you like a
shouldn't.
flavor text that tells you like this is useless.
Yeah,
so
fuck
it-
off with the valve.
it's a bad design right there because it's.
I'll say again that I like.
And I could find the 3 Wizard of Oz keys ahead of time.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So why the fuck? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense as
You
a
were able to
design
get
choice to me.
You were able to get those keys before like the event that triggered you to look for those keys.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You know
it's
what I
not
mean?
going to
So-
fuck progression up if I can just see the thing.
That there's a
here.
key there. Yeah.
I really like it in games. Well, let me say, I don't recall if I did that, if I checked it out if I went to the valve before you're allowed to. But I feel like the way I felt about that puzzle, I may have done that because I felt so baffled by it. But I like it in games when I notice that there's a puzzle and then I can get all the pieces and then solve it all at once. And because even some games will even
fair.
say like it's like, come back to me when you've collected 5 heads of goblins, and it's like, you already have the 5
Resident
goblins.
Evil with like you can see that there's the 4 statues,
The
the
death
4
masks?
death masks.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
cool. I know at some point, and you might need to go fucking do 6 puzzles and then find a death mask
Yeah.
way later than you thought you would.
But I like that when
But you know you're eventually gonna wind up back there, and that's how this game works most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other
Except
than
here.
literally in this moment.
I like it when it has a unique experience where it's like, oh, you already have the 5 goblin heads. Isn't that a coincidence?
always
And then they
nice.
take it, and I'm like, okay, cool. I got the extra little scene.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little satisfying little thing to go, huh? I was ahead of the game.
Especially if it's a thing that like your first time through, you wouldn't know. So they're like, they're like, oh, you've done this before.
The keys are the best example.
Right.
The three house keys.
It made me feel great to go, there's a lock and I have all the keys.
Even right now, I was like, that was amazing that you did that.
It felt great. I was like, cool. I even sent the group chat. I was like, I probably would have been pretty fucking frustrated.
You're slinging cock
if
in
I
that,
didn't
yeah.
like, you know, figure this. If I was like, oh, I gotta go back after I just fucking figured everything out.
Yeah.
Anyway, you flush the water out by blocking the drain pipe with the ball. The water goes, flushes the. You don't flush the water. You use the
block
water
the
to flush
water.
the key out. The key falls down in the courtyard. You find it. There's a drain pipe right there.
My last piece on this. What the fuck is this?
It's just like a. It's
What is
just
this
like
weird drain setup?
It's a roof gutter system. You know what I mean?
Why would you have to activate a valve? Like
I
what?
don't know. Well, to activate the valve, I don't know why. I think
Also,
that's
and
just
it
like
just
an open pipe.
the spouts into the courtyard.
Well, yeah, because you got
not even a- it's not even- is there a drain down there?
Like in people's homes, there's gutters. The drain just
you
go to
gotta
the lawn.
and you got to think about it. It's a flat roof, so it's going to be slightly pitched to the edges, but not really.
Yeah, I know,
And so
yeah.
those gutters are just to collect rain. They're not for that specific pipe.
It was like up against a wall. It was in the ground. It was weird.
What?
It was into the
in the courtyard.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It was well, yeah, there too. But the gutter on the roof. It wasn't like a plastic gutter that you like hang on the side of your house. It was like
no, because you don't need it on the
built
edge because
into it.
the roof is there's 4 walls on the roof. You know what I mean? Edges
Yeah.
that come up, so water would be able to just pool there with nowhere for the water to drain.
Yeah, but it's like I've never seen
so
that.
that-
before.
Here's the thing. The gutters
okay.
make total sense.
Yeah.
There'd be gutters there, and they would drain into the courtyard. What doesn't make sense is why is there also a water tank that collects rainwater?
Fucking what?
That you can dump right onto here.
Yeah, like what is
like
that
you'd
for?
see on the New York City
because
buildings.
all you do is take that water that
eyeballs.
collected in the tank and then dump it.
like what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
why
very
would you ever
strange to
collect
me.
it?
Yeah, that part doesn't make any sense.
But
I didn't get
again,
it.
you're in hell.
That's fair.
That's its saving grace.
Can always say that it's.
So-
That doesn't seem like real life. Well, it's not.
Yeah.
Hear me out here, because you know I'm getting to the end of this school zone, which
You better
means
slow-
Andrew can finally
Bust.
rejoin us. We're gonna be 500 feet away. in a
I gotta go.
moment here.
I gotta go another way.
Oh, I can't call
I'll
you.
just,
I'll go around.
No, you can ride with us. I'm like, no, I gotta.
I can't.
I can't.
So I used the key. I used the key to open a classroom, and passing through it gave me access to the boiler room. I had to do a valve puzzle to clear the way. This is always trial and error for me, where there was like the 3 like
Oh yeah.
the
It's
interlocking
like the turnstiles. They're
yeah,
like,
the turnstiles.
I hated this.
Whenever those
Did
those
you
kinds
guys
of puzzles,
Do you
I
just
just
brute
go,
force it?
Yeah,
Yes,
literally.
in every fucking game I've ever played, I never go, oh yes, I logically understand that this valve does this and this turns this way, and I just need to do that.
If you're fucking-
I always go, I guess I'll just fucking trial and error until I get it, and I'll get it in like between like 6 and 20 moves.
Yeah.
But I've never in my entire life had a puzzle like this where I go, oh, I get the puzzle logic.
Yeah.
Really?
I've never. I mean,
Ever.
like,
Ever.
I was really struggling.
by the end, I felt like I did, but I didn't. You know.
I
what I mean?
didn't.
I figured
I
it out.
because
fucked
I-
with the first half a bunch, and I said, I guess that's close. I'll go to the other side.
Well, it's like
and I
one
just
of
Yeah.
them
got it.
turns it twice, the other one turns it once, and then the other one turns that one twice, and the other one once. And
Yeah,
it
you
was
got
like-
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't. I feel like if you don't start out knowing that, you fuck it up immediately.
That's what I thought.
And then you need to do like 15 moves to fucking correct it.
Yeah, 'cause
So
if
it
you-
took me like
Yep.
yeah. So it took me like 20 fucking moves.
And I was
probably
just
to
like,
get
when
Yeah.
I was doing that, I was like,
But to tell you that I understood it would be a lie. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I understood what was going on eventually, but I didn't like my moves were not calculated.
No.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, like I
was just
understood
like,
the
this,
concept
this,
of the
this,
puzzle and the
this.
mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Didn't solve it.
Yeah. No. I did the right moves by chance.
Yeah, unintentionally.
Hey, Buggo. Come here, Papa.
Pop, pop, up, hop,
all of his fur is in my eyeballs.
Good.
Yeah, that's the issue I was dealing with. It's
really rough.
Sorry. I was like,
Sluggo, help me out here.
He can't read. He's not old enough.
So, once I got through there,
What'd you do?
I go to
then?
the boiler room. There's a big fire, but there's an even bigger lizard. It was the same. It was Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Lizard. It was a
Here come
big
them
ass
girls.
lizard. Here's what I did. I got my shotgun out. I just unloaded it in its face repeatedly until
blasted
it
it.
died.
I blasted
Is that
its
what you
ass.
guys did?
I used the pistol, but I literally just waited until it opened its mouth, and then I just fucking. I remembered the book from earlier.
Yeah, I tried to do that, but
opened
it
its
felt
mouth.
like I was getting positive reinforcement from just
it did-
blasting
it
him.
did way more
seemed
damage.
like it was still
It
like.
did
ugh.
still hurt him, but like
It
you did
died when its
way
mouth was
more
open.
damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like its mouth. If you
So-
shoot it while its mouth is open, it's fucking like that.
Also, what was this weird little like spinny sand room that it brought you to. That was so weird.
You're in hell.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Oh, the convenient.
So it dies. Things get hazy, and I see a vision of a woman, and I go, "Who is that?"
Huh?
And then, like a second later, I go, "Who was that?" Do you remember this? He says, "Who was that?" Twice.
I thought he thought it the second time.
The voice says it both times.
I know there's weird moments like this throughout the game.
The voice acting, we talked about it. It's weird
Shitting.
on purpose. This is the only thing I went. Was that an accident that he just said, "Who was that?" twice? And all I could think of is, you guys know in Batman, who was that? Vicky Vale. I like Batman. I don't know if you guys know, there's like a Prince song where he's like taking clips from the '89 Batman movie and like
I don't
scratching
think
them
I've
up.
heard that one.
You really like Prince
Who was
recently.
that? Vicky Vale. Vicky. I like Batman. I'll have to play it here. Anyway, there's a lot more going on. Andrew's having allergies.
It's just your cat's hair is in my eyeballs, and it hurts. As if
I think it's allergies. I don't think there's literally hair scratching your cornea.
I think that
it's
is the
allergies.
issue.
I think it would have gotten out, and I think the residual irritation is from allergies.
I'm not allergic to your little pussums over there.
Yeah, but like if you just get that's like the issue earlier was I felt the hair in my eyelashes, got it out immediately, and then my eye just itched for like a full
might
minute
just-
after.
it
See,
could
I
be-
get the hair in my eyes, and I go, oh, there's no more hair in my eye, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But your
Maybe
your
it got
eyes are
deeper.
pink.
It could have gotten deeper in. I'm crying a little
I
bit.
think you're a little bit allergic.
I'm kind of stoned right now.
Well, also we
Since
did
we
smoke
started.
a fat blunt. But
Jesus
that's it for this
Christ.
episode of Yeah, I Played. In the next episode, we'll pick up where we left off, which we're going to the hospital.
That's right.
Here, remember this one from Fensler Films?
Go to the hospital.
I need someone to take me to the hospital.
Do you remember this one from classic YouTube videos? You have an ambulance.
Oh, did you
back
remember
Benny.
mine?
No, I don't know that one.
I remember you showing it to me a couple years ago, and that was the
It's
first
from
time I
G.I.
saw
Joe's.
it. Yeah, G.I. Joe's is.
G.I. Joe.
Is it?
You don't know the G.I. Joes?
I mean, like I'm aware
Mr.
of
Bottom
G.I. Joe.
Massage. No, the G.I. Joe, the classic G.I. Joe meme videos.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like this is custom made for your sense of
I
humor.
had also never heard of him.
What the fuck?
I have a
We've
weird.
done this before.
I have a vague memory that I may have when I was, but I was.
You like Adult Swim?
Yeah, I love Adult Swim. I've seen like the Robot Chicken G.I. Joe.
No.
I feel like
not
you're.
the same.
I feel like you're 1 second away from saying kids these days.
It's just crazy because like,
Haven't seen my funny meme videos.
how old are you?
28.
I'm 4 years older than
You're
you.
not that much older.
This
than
is a like one of the strongest memes to have ever been made.
Strongest.
It was enormous and launched the careers of. Have you seen Lasagna Cat?
It launched Lasagna Cat's career.
Well, it's the same people.
Okay, I have not.
It's
Oh
Lasagna
yeah,
Cat.
I'm very familiar with that. Yeah, what the fuck am I talking about? They made a whole ass show.
What's Lasagna Cat?
They made a whole ass
Listen,
show.
you're in for a treat because this is stuff that I know the type of comedy you like.
Uh-huh.
I will
Bombard me with links in the.
I will
There's a
hang
rattler.
myself in episode 2 of Silent Hill. Yeah, I've played.
You'll hang yourself.
You will either see me here, or if I'm gone, it's because I myself because Jordan didn't like. And I'm noticing we're getting more subs, so I'm trying to say stuff like kill myself, school shit,
Gun.
child.
They're really trying to hit home on all those. Parts.
Jeff Bezos.
I'm just those are phrases you shouldn't say. I'm
really-
not advocating those.
No,
things.
you shouldn't say those phrases.
I'll say, you'll never watch it, but there's a really good Super Eye Patch Wolf video on
I don't know
Garfield.
what that is either.
It's a channel Matt doesn't like that I do.
It's a guy who talks like this and says,
He's Irish.
I had a very emotional connect. All right, I'll do it in American. I had a very emotional connection to Garfield. There will never be another strip like this in the history.
Not at
of
all what he
newspapers."
said.
He sounds
He's not like
so
He's not like
pussy.
LGR. He does jujitsu.
LGR sounds like this.
I had an emotional connection.
I had an emotional connection on these balls.
What? On his balls?
Because he's Duke Nukem.
He
Oh,
does Duke
Duck
Nukem.
Nukem.
Anyway,
I wanna bust a
thanks for
fat nut.
watching. This is the end. We'll pick up in the hospital. We'll do a round. I'm still fucking blowing cat hair.
There's a lot of cat hair.
He sheds hard. I brush him. He looks.
He's watching ghosts fly around in your house.
Thanks
right
for
now.
catching this episode of Yeah, I've Played Silent Hill Part 1.
Probably another 7 or 12 on the series.
We're doing one more episode.
Yeah, we're doing one
it's gonna
more
be a
episode.
two-parter. If you like this, you want more, there's the Patreon. You can support us. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Do all the things to help us out.
Join
To help us
Discord.
out. Don't leave a comment going, "Oh, can't believe you only have this many subs. Wish you had. This is a tragedy."
No, Matt, that's good.
No,
That's good engagement.
That's fine. But if you're not doing all the other stuff, you're basically doing pee-pee in our mouths. You're doing TT on us, and we're on fire.
You and TT on the
and
laptop.
And there's a giant lizard.
and there's a giant lizard.
You're essentially the giant lizard in this analogy.
With its mouth open, getting pissed in.
Yeah. No,
This is
it's
not
our mouth.
kink in
It's
this-
our
in
mouth.
this
Sorry, we're the
scenario.
mouth.
You're doing all those things to us, and you're the giant lizard.
And we're Harry Mason just going,
Huh?
Patreon?
Have you seen my Have you seen my
Have you
videos?
seen my sub count?
Have you subscribed to the Patreon?
You made Sluggo very concerned.
He's looking upset.
Sluggo, I need help.
Where's Scarrow?
Sluggo, help me. Where's my daughter?
He's looking for
She's
her.
about your size,
Don't kick
7
my
years
cat.
I touched him to
old.
scare
Black
him.
hair.
He's gonna jump up on your lights.
Big dog,
Don't
you
prevent
do.
him from doing it. It'll be funny.
Oh, there's a bug on the lights.
Oh, that's
There's
there's
a
two of
bug
them.
on the
bugs
light.
on the
There's
lights.
3. Look down there
Oh no. All right, we need to go now.
before
We
it's
gotta get
too
outta
late.
here.
Pussy.